CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll
Hearing
never
some echo.
stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 129 of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. Are you ready to talk about the Coco today, boys and girls? I can hear you.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, welcome one and all. We are here, we are back, we are live on the airwaves, guys, talking Coco, Coco talking guys. It is episode 129. We've already been trolled before we were even on the air. Let's get to that right away at the top of the show. Jim Brain from Retro Innovations says, will the panelists actually get around to talking about the Coco at some point? If so, we're ready. Doubtful, though. They will stay on topic. All right, thanks, Jim. Thanks for that pre-show trolling there. That is the sign of a true professional troll, and that's the sign of a successful show. Successful shows draw professional trolls. Speaking of draws, we also draw some of the most handsome men on the internet. This is the Retro 2019 calendar. Hot dudes of retro, hot Coco cover boys are here. Speaking of one of the hottest cover boys on the internet, we've got Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Welcome to the program, Nick.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Oh, we are just doing fabulous, sir. We are so glad you could join us and make the screen look pretty.
I just want to say to our fellow Canadians, happy Thanksgiving weekend.
Hey.
2 hours earlier up here.
Happy Thanksgiving, eh?
Yep, and Columbus Day in the States, I believe, isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Curtis Boyle on his overdrive microphone coming in loud and hot.
You got to be changing the soundboard here because I haven't touched my mic in 2 weeks and it keeps changing settings.
Curtis,
so.
You are overmodulated. Trust me. Too much of Curtis is not a good thing.
Might just be the caffeine. I'm not sure.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, you Canadian turkeys. Gobble, gobble. I'm glad you all could be here. Curtis Boyle is here from old Canada. How's it going, E?
Hello, everyone. You doing good?
All right. We've got from sunny Arizona where you can fry an egg on the frickin' sidewalk. It's Ron Delvaux is with us in the program.
Hey, everybody. Hey, can you tell me where the Coco Flame resides?
We're keeping it alive. It's
do you know exactly where it is? Or
there's a bunch of athletes that run around keeping that thing lit all year round.
No, it's actually behind the Radio Shack right by the dumpster.
Yeah, the Coco Flame is in the dumpster behind Radio Shack. I love it. Yes, keeping it alive. We've got plenty of garbage to keep that fire fueled all year long.
We're going to need a graphic for that, I think.
Yes, we are. We just been joined by Amigos Retro Gaming. Hey, how you guys doing? Our latest contributors to Coco content. We've got with us our backup stream engineer, well-dressed man, handsome fellow, Mark Bosley's in the house. Hello, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
Speaking of handsome fellows, Terry Steggy is with us. Hello, Terry.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Terry.
Yes, host of, what is your website? Is it The Tandy Coco or something like that?
The Tandy Shack, yep.
The TandyShack.com. He's trying to get together the world's most comprehensive archive of the TDP systems, Tandy Data Product Systems. We have a man who has appeared at Hamvention, at CorgsCon, at PenFest, 99 and 2000, available at Tandy Assembly, Coco Fest, and available for weddings and bar mitzvahs. It's none other than the Coco man himself, Jason Reichert. Hello, Jason.
Howdy, howdy, and just remember, no MC-10s have been harmed in the recording of this episode.
That is good to know. Have you hugged an MC-10 today is what we all want to know. Somebody want to let Terry back into the call. Terry Steggy, one person is waiting. Terry, aren't you in the call?
He looks like he's frozen.
He's frozen.
Oh, we got to admit him back in. All right, he's back in. All right, we've got all the way from, it's Uruguay, right? Is it Uruguay, Diego?
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes I screw up because, this is how you had me remember it, like you are gay, right? So that's right, because sometimes I want to say Ecuador, but it's you are gay. Diego is with us. Hey, Diego, how are you?
I'm doing good. And you?
Good. Welcome to the program.
Not my Guay, but your Guay.
It's your Guay. Yeah, keep
Everybody's gay.
Keep your Guay to yourself, all right?
Is he closer to the flame?
Oh, and somewhere, go ahead, Jason.
It's his Guay or the high Guay.
His Guay or the high Guay.
I'll go get my.
All right,
I'll get
so
my code.
he's keeping an eye on the Matrix for us. We have all the way from Australia, David O'Connor. G'day, David.
Hello, everybody. It's 4:36 a.m. here on Sunday morning in the future in the land down under.
Down under. All right.
You're insane.
We've got a guy whose joystick I used for many hours last night playing Coco games. It's John Strong of Strongware, maker of many fine products for your Color computer. Welcome, John.
Welcome.
And he's got something green in his hand there.
It's his translucent case.
That's his translucent case that we saw a sneak peek of last week. It's now opened up, and we see shiny electronic parts inside there. It's clear. It's a clean run. There's no blemishes. That is beautiful.
Some stuff. Yeah, it's a lot better. So getting some warpage on the print. Some things I got to correct yet. But, for print too, it's pretty good.
It's beautiful. It's a work of art. Speaking of work of arts, we got Paul Shoemaker with us. Hey, Paul, welcome to the program.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Very good. It's going excellent. We have the coiner of the phrase dumpster fire, Mr. Richard Lorbieski of Boyson Technologies. Welcome, Richard.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I saw the same exact screenshot at the post office.
Of?
Did it have the word reward on it?
Yes, it did. And it said top 10.
Welcome, Richard. How the warranty repairs coming along? Good?
You're going to have to talk to Jim Brain about that.
All
Mr.
right.
RMA himself, huh?
A guy who takes live streaming to new depths. It's the guy we call Grant Leedy. Welcome, Grant.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, Richard, just let you know you got a case of root beer coming to your house. They're
already pre-opened and ready to spill.
Probably be all spilt up, you know.
Yeah, you shook them all up, so as soon as you open them, they're just going to fizz all over the place.
Yeah.
Pre-spilt.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Right.
And last,
you can. They just have to be wet and sticky. That's all.
They'll lose the root beer will lose the fizziness at the time if he opens them.
Need some fizzy lifting drink. And last but certainly not least, from the land down under as well, neighbor of David O'Connor, neighbor of Bryza, neighbor of Chad Cunnington, because all Australians are neighbors. It is Nicholas Morentes. Good day, Nick.
Hey, everyone. Yep, I had better things to do at 4 a.m. On a Sunday morning, like sleep. But anyway, here I am.
Well, this show puts you right back to sleep when you hear Nick snoring.
What else is there to do on a Saturday afternoon?
All right, and in the live chat, Yeah, in the live chat, we've got Al Hartman. Al Hartman was here early. Retro Innovations was here early. Vocal Studio, a.k.a. DeBruce Moore, is here. Nick Marotta is here. Alexander Wallace, our friend from Mexico, is here. Mark B. Matchy is here. Tim Franklin. Tom C. from Jersey saying, hello, nuts. Amigos Retro Gaming here saying, sup, y'all, and hiya, boys. L. Curtis Boyle is here. Nick Marotta. We are here. We are live. We are talking Coco. Now that we've got our introductions out of the way and the first 45-minute segment of the show is done, it's time for a commercial break, and then we'll run the closing credits. So good night, all. See you next week.
Push the button, Frank. Was that Jim Brain? I heard cheering.
And I am your guest host this week, Stevie Stroh. Mr. Can't get past level 1 in any game. And
you proved yourself wrong yesterday.
So what are we going to talk about this week, boys? What's new and exciting? Anything happened this past week? Anything of newsworthy, discussion-worthy topics? Anything happened Thursday evening by any chance?
Don't think so.
I was
Pretty quiet
listening.
week.
I was listening to my color computer get older.
Oh,
Is that possible? Yes.
We're all getting older.
Wasn't there an election? And I was really disappointed. My candidate Abe Stain did not win any of the offices there.
I believe the nominee for the longest introduction of Jason the Coco Man Reichert, that title is undisputed at this point. So
I thought Abe Stain played kind of dirty.
I don't know. I've never heard of this person. They've never contributed anything to the Facebook group or anywhere, and all of a sudden they just run for office.
The thing that made me suspicious about Mr. Abstain there is that he actually was running for every single position.
I know.
So I didn't know that was allowed.
Who nominated him?
Well, so for those of you not aware, if you've been under a rock for the past few months, we've been telling you about, well, actually for the past 29, 30 plus years, there's been this club known as the Glenside Color Computer Club. They host every year our annual migration and geek convention known as Coco Fest, and so once a year they nominate their officers, and the nominations were just happened, and the voting had been tallied, and the winners were announced. And does anybody want to announce that, Curtis? Is that part of your news, or are we going to lead with that, or
It is part of the news.
away?
We can lead with it if you want.
Why don't we go ahead and lead with the Glenside election announcements and what has happened, and what does that mean, and what is our future?
Well, I was hoping our new president would actually be on to kind of give his guidelines as to what he was planning for the future of both the club and for Coco Fest, especially considering the 40th anniversary one's coming up, but he wasn't able to make it today, so
he's
planning a future episode.
He's out.
But
planning.
basically, the election results are the president is Eric Canales, secretary is Rich Bair, treasurer is Brian Goers, vice president is John Mark Mobley, and a surprise at the end is that Steve Strobridge is the new newsletter editor.
Who is Steve Strobridge?
I have no idea.
Oh, that guy.
Sounds like a shady, unreliable, unreputable character to me.
It might be the alter ego of Abstain.
Abstain. Yes.
That's the guy with the broken TDP.
Yes. I got at least one wire loose in my harness, so. So the congratulations are in order for John Mark Mobley, and John Mark has been a member of Glenside for decades, and John Mark has been very active and very involved, and mostly does the newsletter and a lot of the communications and public relations, and so John Mark Mobley was nominated for vice president. He won the position of vice president, and then our new president this year too is Eric Canales as well, who's not with us, but Eric has been a member of Glenside for a couple of years now. He's been attending Coco Fest past couple of years. He is local to the Chicago area, and he is our new president. So hopefully Glenside is in good hands, and our future is going to be continue the tradition of great clubs and great Coco Fest and all that good stuff.
Yeah, shame about the newsletter though.
Yeah, and the newsletter's going right in the toilet, but hopefully the rest of the club will be good. So yeah, this month in the newsletter, let's talk about cosmic aliens. Next month we'll give you another sneak peek at cosmic aliens.
Yeah, this week we'll be discussing scan line number 42.
Yes, oh my. So
is it too late to impeach the news editor?
No, not at all. Please. I'm in favor of public floggings whenever possible. Okay, so Tim Franklin in the live chat is saying somewhat Coco related. Did anyone see the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 promo? It's amazing.
I did. It is amazing.
I've seen it a little while ago, Tim. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that. And so, for those of you, it's very Coco related, because wasn't it Sublogic who made the original flight simulator that was on the Coco that was purchased by Microsoft or some other company?
Yes, Sublogic did the first two. We had Flight Sim 1 for the Coco 1, programmed by Gerrie Zumwalt, and then we had Flight Sim 2, which was colored for the Coco 3.
And that those are kind of the impetus of what would become decades worth of Microsoft flight simulators, right?
Yeah, and this is the first one Microsoft's done in years too. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, they kind of abandoned the franchise for a while. James Jones is joining us for the first time in history. Hey, James Jones is here. Yeah, I saw the promo. It's been a while since I've seen it, Tim, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. What I'm really excited about...
I can now crash the plane trying to land in photorealistic graphics.
Yeah, my dad has been a huge fan of this for years, and so my dad has been staying on top of all the... I think Flight Simulator X was the last one they made, and that's got to be 10 plus years since they did that. But my dad has had every single add-on piece of scenery and all the extra planes and all the third-party plugins for it. My dad's been playing that stuff for years. He's got the different sticks so you can turn them sideways and all kinds of stuff. He's huge into that. And so...
Yeah, even the Coco version had scenery discs that you could order.
Oh yeah,
They didn't openly advertise them that much, but there was at least a half a dozen or so that were made.
Yeah, but
I have the Japanese one. I still need to convert that one over.
Oh, for the Coco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, neat. Yeah, so this is supposed to include content that's based on satellite imagery, and we're using like cloud computing and all kinds of extra stuff for, to bring it as much power as possible. So it will be interesting to see. Thanks for bringing that up, Tim. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And luckily for me, because I have an Xbox and I have the membership, I forgot what it's called, Xbox Game Pass, you pay monthly. Any new product that any Xbox exclusive title, I get automatically in my subscription. So I'll have access to that the day it comes out. So I'm looking forward to I'm going to play it like an arcade game. I don't care about the sim part. I just want to fly around and see cool graphics. But
you could do a comparison video when you do that. You could, if you want to do the game part, you can do the World War II part of the Coco Flight Sim 2 to show how much it's advanced in the last 30 years.
True. Very true. Very, very true. Cool. Thanks for asking that question. James Jones, are you with us?
I think he dropped out.
Maybe he's trying to get back in. It sounds like he came in, and then we heard a blast of sound, and we had a blast with the new math tutor, and hopefully he'll be back on soon.
The flame.
All right, so we've gone through that. We started off. Our lead story is the Glenside election announcement. So we have a new president. We have a new vice president. Congratulations to both of you.
New newsletter editor. Congratulations.
New editor.
In all seriousness.
Yes. Well, thank you, and I apologize in advance for my for whatever shite.
Are you going to rage quit every issue? Or?
Yes. Again, I think we touched on this last week, but really, if you have suggestions on how to make CocoFest better, how to make things you'd like to see happen at CocoFest, suggestions for the event, make sure you attend the meetings and let your voices be heard. And so you go to the Glenside website, right? GlensideCCC.com. Join the club, attend the meetings, that you can attend them virtually, and let your voice be heard. It doesn't matter as much as who's sitting in a seat, who's the president, who's the vice president. It's the club members that are going to make the decisions. We make the suggestions. These suggestions will get voted upon, and we can say, listen, let's do this, or let's not do that, or whatever else it may be. Now,
question for people that can't make the meetings either because they have work shifts that day, which has happened to me the last few times. What's the best alternative way to get a hold for suggestions for that? Do you have a special email account or anything set up, or does it just go to the president or newsletter editor, or what?
I guess we'd have to check the website. And now, since I'm going to be slightly involved now, you guys can just email us at our normal show address at CoCoTALK at CoCoTALK.live, and we will all see it and see what we can do. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try to real time scour the Glenside website to tell you where the links are, but hopefully that information is there. You can definitely contact some of the officers. The officers' email addresses should be listed on the site.
Is there a person that's in charge of CocoFest itself, or is it a committee, or is it just the president, or I don't even know who to...
It probably should be. Honestly, you're asking me. I'm not an officer. I don't know. I cannot speak on behalf of that hierarchy. It would be nice
have in the past people who took and managed that. I think that's kind of a decision as the CocoFest gets closer, and so decided in meetings and such who's going to actually be ahead of organizing and that. But there's been different people in the past that organized the CocoFest.
But not necessarily the officers themselves. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not necessarily because you're a officer or you're the organizer. Okay. Just because you're an officer doesn't mean you have to organize the fest.
Okay. Well, one thing I would mention is we need to decide that a bit ahead of time compared to previous years, because it being the 4th anniversary, if we want to do some special stuff above and beyond a normal CocoFest, we should be planning early, not waiting until...
Right. And so the simple answer is come to the meetings and make those suggestions so they can be heard and the motion can be voted on, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's been mostly Tony Pedraza has been the primary organizer, and I know John Linville has been very heavily involved in trying to organize and structure things too. So hopefully between the two of them, some of that heavy lifting will still take place. But I think ultimately the buck should stop with the president. So even if the president's not specifically doing it directly, that they should be responsible for
making sure it's
getting done and gathering and compiling that information, right? So we have somebody trying to join the call. Is it Billie Jean Lewis? I'm not sure who's trying to call, but we need to make sure we know who you are to jump in. So maybe throw us a little note in the live chat so we know who you are before we just let people on. We have had some trolls join us in the past, so we got to be careful who we bring into the live program.
We don't let Jim on either, right?
Definitely not. No. Anyways, yes. So we've handled that. Do we want to go ahead and do our project updates this week? Anyone have an update they want to share with us?
I do.
John Strong of Strongware. This should be a follow-up to what you showed us last week, I'm going to assume.
Yes, I also posted pictures and there's comments on Facebook. And so just a little detail. I'm still getting some war pages and stuff in the case. I'm used to a different camera than I'm using today. But it's done a pretty good update. I'm going to be another full pass of redrawing a lot of things, but it's looking good so far, and we'll see how it works out. Okay. My first conventionally 3D printed one arrived, so I'll be doing one with the inserts also as well. And the other update is I have started back to work on the patch for the OPL, the Mega Mini. I do have to find my Coco STC, which has been misplaced in the move.
Okay.
But I've been on the emulator looking and walking through the code, and I have found some things to work on to do that. So it's being worked on.
And when you say patch, we're talking about a patch for BASIC that will let you use the play command to output to a sound chip?
Yes.
Okay.
That's something I'm really looking forward to, John. It's going to be it's going to feature strongly on my excuse the pun, on my new album, Coco Music.
Well, it's I don't know how much we can do with just being an overlaid patch, but I want to do is overlay it to BASIC and use just that memory space. So it could be burned into EEPROM and replaced. So James is trying to get on again.
Okay. I think James just blew into the call there.
So that's kind of my update. I did find the other pieces of equipment I needed, and can't remember where I stash to Coco SDC.
Cool. Well, continue
It's
that
got my
hunt.
it's got my assembler for the real hardware on it, and so I need to run it to do the testing. So, but David, if you want to contact me through Messenger or something like that, we may have something that you might be able to test before long. You can give it a try before if I don't find my Coco SDC.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll send you a message tomorrow, and we'll get onto it.
Who else has an update now?
I do.
David
I've got an
O'Connor from Australia has an update. What is your update, David O'Connor?
My update is a little package arrived in the mail from one Carlos Camacho during the week with some Coco badges. That's the old badge off my Coco 3, 128K Color Computer 3. If I just zoom in here to my Coco, and I'll just put a little bit of light on here so we can see that badge a little better. If I just shine that
look at that, 2048K.
Yeah,
nice.
2000. It's beautiful badge. The bubble with the bubble thing as well, which the Coco 3 didn't originally have. Looks very, very nice and shiny.
Nice. So what was the technique you used to get your old name badge off?
A jeweler's flat blade screwdriver. It's no special high tech. I just got a screwdriver.
You didn't heat it up or anything to melt the glue? Just scraped it off?
No, I just scraped it straight off. It actually, you can see on the back of the old one there.
Did it bend a little bit as you were scraping up under to kind of curl it all or anything, or?
Slightly, but the old one is a little. You probably can't really tell there. It's slightly buckled, but it's still in pretty good shape.
Okay.
And the new one just went on beautifully. I scraped all the glue off with a Stanley knife and made the surface nice and flat, and then stuck the new one on. But also, along with those badges, there's some
badges,
stickers here.
You don't need no stinking
Stickers
badges.
here.
Are those like holographic warranty stickers?
Yes, they are. Exactly. That's exactly what they are.
Look at that. That is cool. So you can replace your warranty void if broken sticker with a new shiny one.
Absolutely.
So you can try taking it back to one of the remaining radio shops.
There's one in Keller, Texas. Go ahead.
They'll never know.
And we know how Steve likes shiny things.
I love shiny things.
That's that'd be interesting to see what they said with that. But right here, there is some 64K RAM badges for my Coco ones.
Nice.
Bubble badges as well, and also 3 more bubble badges, Coco 1 bubble badges there.
Okay, that just say Color Computer.
It's spelt the American way. So, so I didn't get any Australian. Would have been nice to get some Australian ones. But,
right.
Well, actually, you don't mean Australia. You mean the rest of the world ones, basically.
You mean proper.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
The proper spelling of color. Yeah.
UK and
Canada,
and
Australia.
So, yeah.
We have a question, which I believe the answer is going to be no to, but does Carlos Camacho make other badges or just for the Coco?
That's a good question.
Know?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, I'm
only aware of the Coco ones.
Somebody would like one for their Amiga 1200.
Yeah, I would say reach out to him on Facebook, Alexander.
And I don't see why he couldn't make them. So yeah, reach out to him.
Reach out to him on Facebook, and I believe his website is just Color Computer Store or the Color Computer Store. So you can check out he's got an e-commerce site too. If you could reach out to him there. But yeah, Carlos makes good stuff, makes quality stuff.
Well, wouldn't the Amiga look better with a Coco badge anyway?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, just put a Coco badge on the Amiga.
Right?
Yeah.
We love Commodore.
Overall, I have to say I'm very impressed with the quality of these badges. The stickiness of them is really good. Once you stick them on, they're going to stay on. And the actual quality, the printing and the bubbles and everything's nice and even. They look really professional.
Yeah. I recall he tried multiple vendors and he had test runs done and finally found the ones he liked. So he definitely put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, well, it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Amigo Retros Gaming and Al Hartman are both mentioning that there are other companies that are already making Amiga replacement badges, some in the UK, etc. So
hey, you should join us, Amiga Retro Gaming, dude. Talk to us.
Presuming that's Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, should join us, dude.
Just started a good
Etsy.
podcast a couple weeks ago.
Check Etsy, he says. Okay, cool. So we got badges. Who else has got some project updates or acquisitions they want to share? Who's got something to show or to tell? Terry Steggy is raising his hand.
Yeah, just kind of along what John was working on. A buddy of mine asked if I could 3D print some cartridges for him for game cartridges. So turned out pretty slick. They're
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And what is that for? What system would that be for?
This would be for the Coco. It's a regular game cartridge. They snap together pretty well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Had
and then
some issues with warping, like John was saying, so I'm trying to get the support. But this is with the resin printer, so you don't really get any lines or nothing. It's pretty good detail, but I've not tried the clear resin like John had there. But
did you create this model yourself, or did you find this from a library somewhere where they existed, or?
I found one and kind of tweaked it. I didn't really like how some of it was pretty blocky. So
Okay.
I was able to use a CAD program and shape that. The thing I was impressed with, now not including my time, because this was 6.5 hours, but the cost of the resin was about $1.50. So I thought that was pretty darn economical, and that was just printing one. I can actually fit 2 complete cartridges on my bed, and the time would be the same. It doesn't matter because it's doing it in slices or layers, so it doesn't really care so much.
Basically, you can get 2 done every 6 hours then, basically.
Yep, you get 2 every 6. So anyway.
And that's got the nice design too, where you have the screw hole in the bottom so you don't wreck any labels you may put on the cartridges.
Exactly. I'd like to put, kind of like John was talking about in the post, maybe drill that out a little bit and put some kind of an insert in there, but they seem to be pretty darn strong after you cure them. I mean, you can't break the suckers. Well, there I did.
You broke it?
Oops.
Don't break it. Don't break it,
That's
Terry.
all right. That's what they're there for.
Are you gonna make a TDP edition?
That's exactly what I would like to do. I think that'd be kind of cool to have something maybe to give out at some of the trade shows that is just a cartridge you can give out and they can plug in and have whatever you want. Coco-wise,
Is there clear resins available for 3D printers? It'd be pretty cool to make a clear one.
Yep.
John's is kind of clear. It's his green one he was showing earlier.
Oh yeah, translucent sort of. Yeah, be good if someone could make if they had a bed big enough to make an entire Coco, Coco 2 or 3, even a Coco 1. I mean, it's pretty big, but a Coco 3 case out of clear resin would be really cool.
That would be cool.
What I'm waiting for is the first translucent or transparent case that actually has LEDs in it, so that the game will actually have red alert and it'll glow red and then green if the status is green and stuff. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
It can be done. We have the technology. We have the power. We can do it.
You can do that with the boomerang board, can't you? It's got the LED.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you can do it there too.
Wow. I know.
Yeah, like ambient lighting, right? That'd just be really cool. Cool stuff. All right, Terry. So what else? Anything else from you there, Mr. Steggy?
I've ordered a few things, but they haven't showed up yet. So as soon as they do, maybe next week I'll have something to show.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have an update they want to share?
Oh, I can give you a little bit of an update. For those who may remember, they're at VCF Midwest. Yeah, I picked up a bin of Coco stuff along with a Coco 3, and the Coco 3 here I really hadn't gotten to show it, but it has. Let's see here. I'll move this the right way. Someone had taken the broken power switch and put this key switch in. But not only that, but like I said, it was in a bin of stuff, and I got it for $10, so I couldn't I couldn't pass that up. But I've talked about that before, and I don't know how well this is going to show up, but this is kind of how it looked. Had a bunch of
all the soap.
Some type of soap powder in it or something. And just
128K.
I dumped most of that out in the trash can there at the venue at VCF. But I'm thinking yesterday I went ahead and got the compressed air out and blew everything out. And
have you tried fabric softener?
I have not tried fabric softener. But lo and behold, I have the motherboard out of it now, and it did power up and it did boot.
Oh,
so that's a good thing. The power switch here was pretty much destroyed, and it was filled with like hot glue or something, and those speaker wires were running to that key switch. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I have replacement power switches and go ahead and fix stuff.
I have a name for that product. Why don't you call it the Switcheroo?
I think that name's taken. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. But yeah, and it's hard. You can't really see on camera here, but the 512K saw there was actually some of that glue made it down into there. So that looks like that's going to be fun to try to clean those out. It does have 128K RAM in it right now, and it has a 1987 Gimme chip. So
nice.
I did just get the shield off of it here, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it does boot. I wasn't getting anything through the cartridge port, but it does look like there's still a little bit of a soap powder, maybe residue or something in the cartridge port. So I'm going to have to hit that with compressed air again. But it does power up, and it outputs video on all three outputs. So I'm going to call this a win. And I think I think the key switch there, I'll take the key out, but I think that people, what are you going to do with the hole? I was like, maybe I'll put a hole plug in it. I'm thinking I'll just unhook the key switch is already unhooked. I might just leave it there without the key in it. Just
it's
nice
already there.
Conversation piece.
Yeah, you can. That's how you lock your Coco. You lock it up so nobody can open up the lid, right?
It's locked up. Yeah.
I actually saw a refurb of an Atari that looked like someone had driven over it. The guy from Retro Recipes had done the refurb, and he actually, like, for that hole, what you could do is something similar he did to fix broken portions of the case, which is basically to take some epoxy. Well, he took some material and he made like a copy of the texture. He applied this material to the case to kind of copy the texture, and then he filled the hole in with epoxy and then laid that
to reapply the texture to it, huh?
Yeah, and when he was
Interesting.
done, you couldn't tell. Yeah, you could not tell that it was repaired when he was done, or pretty close to it.
Yeah, the 8-bit guy did that with it was like a Bell and Howell Apple II clone or something, but it was black and it had a big square cut out of the top. And he did the same thing where he took it to a guy who put some, rubber material down that took on the pattern and then somehow poured the epoxy into that. And it was really, I mean, it almost disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that 8-bit one that you're talking about too with that Bell and Howell, that Apple II clone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's actually pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. That sounds like a lot of work, but
yeah, it does. I think you should leave the key in it because back in the day, the old
PC
IBM
Towers
had the key, right?
PC Towers had the lock in there too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's either leave the key switch in there or go to the hardware store and try to find a hole plug the same.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, I remember the hard drives that Radio Shack used to sell. It was like 5 and 10 meg hard drives used to have a key.
Yeah,
but
those big honking.
Yeah, but the thing of it was the key for every single one of them was identical. So if you just knew somebody that had a key for any of the hard drives,
yeah.
So it was like having keys for a tractor.
Yeah,
I think they figured if you could afford one of those drives, then you wouldn't be stealing into other people's drives because they're thousands and thousands of dollars. So
no, do you guys remember Ronco or something like that? That they had a recliner tear on the arm of the recliner, and they take the goop and put it on, and then
yeah.
New vinyl. That was new vinyl.
Yes.
New vinyl. You could repair your site. You could repair your car top.
Same idea.
Yeah.
When I think Ronco, I just think that's Ron Delvau's company.
Yeah. Why do you think I said it?
Yeah. Timberman, new from Ronco.
That's right.
And you
Maker
had
of
your
the Ron Delvaux costume.
Yeah, the Ron. Yeah, you know what? You had the Ron Delvaux costume last week. I
Ronco.
my Mark Overhoser costume here.
There you go.
Yeah, so I can. There we go. There, Mark. That's my Mark Overhoser costume. I got my I'm a coconut T-shirt, and I've got my visor. So
There you go.
I'm ready to be Mark Overhoser now.
You just got to get the beard growth going.
Yeah,
you
need an apple too in the background.
I have time to stop shaving, so I can make that happen.
For anyone interested in that technique, I left a link to the YouTube article for the Retro Recipes video where he demonstrates that effect to fix a hole.
Paste it in the YouTube chat too, so people watching there can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just private to us.
You may or may not be able to do that without being a moderator, John. So if it doesn't let you paste it, let me know and I will moderate you.
Yeah, it's great.
Or Ron Delvaux will have lunch with you.
Yes.
I think it's grayed out, so I think maybe it did.
Okay, so can I copy this here?
I think we should all be pasters.
Yes, wouldn't you like to be a paster too? Okay, cool. So who else had an update? Jason did. Jason the Coco Man, showing us his soapy clean cocoa. Anyone else? Anyone?
If nobody has anything else, I have just a couple little things to show.
Of course, Diego. We are delighted to have you joining us.
Some of you may or may not know I've been working for like over 10 years doing a file manager program. It's actually in BASIC, so yeah, it's not so powerful or anything like that. It's called Xfile, and the idea is that it's pretty small and you can have it in all your floppy disk on a hard drive. I use it all the time on my Super IDE. And I don't have an SDC, and I've seen the SDC Explorer that you can go through all the disks and see what's in each of those.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I added a functionality that will let you browse your virtual disk in a Super IDE card or an old IDE disk by the label. The HDVDOS has the functionality of adding a disk label.
Okay.
So you browse through all your disks faster than switching from one disk to another. And it's kind of a little bit slower than what you get on the SDC Explorer, but that way you can find all your disks inside the virtual hard disk much faster and browse from one to another. It's pretty easy and nice if you want to find some of the things that you have. You usually have to keep a list of this virtual disk has these files, this virtual disk has these other things, and so on. Now I can just browse much faster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
you want to do a screen share?
If I can.
Yep. I stopped sharing, so you should be able to share.
Let's see. Do you see VCC now?
Yes, I see VCC.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the program, and now I'm seeing the content of hard disk 0. So I'll just browse, and I get the list of my disks from 0 to 12. I can see the next ones, so I can just go here, and now I see the content of this.
And this works on the Super IDE or the Glenside IDE or some of the other IDE cards?
Yeah, in anything that has HDVDOS. I guess it will work probably with a SDC, but I'm not 100% sure on how that goes.
The mouse works too?
Yeah. VCC does emulate the Glenside and other IDEs, and so far works perfectly fine in all that I've tried.
And you've tested on the real hardware too, obviously.
Yeah. I actually wrote it on the real hard drive, on the real hardware, because I wanted to see how slow it will be to do this part of browsing the disks. And it's not that slow, it just reads the label of each disk. So it just takes a little bit for each one.
When you say it's reading the label, The label, is
Right.
that like a volume label of the floppy drive itself, or?
That's right. Yeah. In HDVD OS, it included, it used some of the unused or reserved fat space to include a label, a volume label. Yep.
So it's using the label of the disk to cross-reference the contents of the disk, and it has to somehow scrub that disk and go out there and see what's on it, though, right?
If you don't write a label, if you didn't create a label for the disk, it will use the name of the first file that it finds as the label.
No, but that list of files that we're seeing, how is that list of files getting discovered? Your utilities.
This is going through the FAT of the disk.
You're going to track 17 or of the sector 17 of the floppy, and you're pulling up the directory listing that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I used to do stuff like that back in the day too when I was learning Disk Basic. I would actually write programs that would hide my directory so you couldn't see what was on it. And then the program you ran would then, do all the behind the scenes shuffling.
Right.
It's nice. It's got a nice interface. The 80 columns definitely makes it easier to see what you're doing there, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a kind of compromise that I had to do some time ago. Decided to use the only Coco 3 modes.
How big is the program?
It's just, I think it takes 3 granules in the disk. That was my goal.
Okay.
I'm not making it any larger so it won't waste too much space.
Now, is this mostly just for like cataloging, or is this actually like a launcher too?
You see, I'm going to, let's say I want to copy this file.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to copy it to disk, I don't know. I need to mind my Spanish keyword to disk 20. So I just like this, and now I copied that file to disk 20.
Wow, that was pretty fast.
And I can see that, yep, there it is. I have an option to rename files.
And it's limiting you to the 8 characters of the thing? Okay.
Yep.
Now, can you launch that program from here too? So is it kind of like a shell launcher?
Let me go to something else.
So is this like 1995 for 12 months?
Yeah. Okay, so I can just load, I don't know which is the launcher of this, start, I guess.
So Diego, is this the way that a hard drive super IDE works on a Coco? It just basically partitions the hard drive into a whole bunch of different floppies?
Yeah, it does. Let me show you. Yeah, that's the way it works.
And so how is it, just hundreds and hundreds of floppies?
Up to 255, yep.
Up to 255, wow.
That's how virtual ones are done, right?
Right. And yeah, just managing this way, which is the dir command, it's, can be quite a pain. So that's what I did this program.
Very nice.
Yeah, cool.
How do we get it?
So it's on YAPS, yet another color computer site.info. Right now it's the version previous to this one. Just giving it the finishing touches today, and hopefully upload it tomorrow.
Very cool.
And this Coco 3 or Coco 1, 2, and 3, or I get it by the 80
3.
column mode to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first ones that I wrote, the first versions, will switch between one and the other mode, but that was making it too large, so I decided to compromise.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with limited screen real estate when you're trying to do a text-based menu system,
Well,
so.
Well, could you write a version for those who have a Coco VGA and maybe use the 64 column mode?
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea I haven't thought about.
Might be at least a middle ground.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Cool. That looks cool.
What was the website again? Yet another.
Yeah, YACCS, right? Yet another color computer site, yaccs.info.
Info. That's right. That's
Yeah.
it.
And there's also a link to that on imacoconut.com, imacoconut.com. I have a link to Diego's site there, I think under blogs or projects or resources. I don't remember, or all of the above. Cool, Diego. What else you been cooking up? Anything?
Just a little game that I started some time ago, quite a few months ago. You might remember the one with the ship where you have to load the containers. It's a semi-graphics with some extra in low res mode.
Yep.
Just keep working on that. Still almost finished. I want to do it like with rewards and badges and stuff like that, like you will get in modern games.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh yeah, maybe the game it's not that fancy, but I think that kind of things, every game should have a high score, should have options for if you're supporting Coco 3 for RGB or CMP and stuff like that, and we can keep adding these new ideas that came out. I'm even thinking, I haven't tried it yet, but if you have DriveWire that you can access a floppy disk that it's online, then maybe your high scores could be saved there and you could see the high scores of everyone else that it's playing, the game and the badges and the stuff that each one.
Yeah, like online leaderboards like we have in modern games and stuff, yeah.
I like that idea very much. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I don't know, I haven't tried it, but I think it should be pretty straightforward. DriveWire to work as it should.
DriveWire. TTL. Cool. Well, I always enjoy seeing what you got cooking because you have a lot of cool stuff. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Very lucky.
Where is the X filer on your page?
You need to go to My Programs.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to get the green screen with the deer of the file.
Yeah, your website is pretty cool, too. It does look like you're pulling up a directory on a Coco and everything else, too. I like that. Cool. Anybody else got any project updates? Anything they want to share, show and tell? Anyone? Bueller? No? We good? All right, how about we take a commercial break and we'll come back and we'll have Curtis Boyle tell us what's going on with some news in the world of retro this week. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. Well, we're going to lead in. Let me turn back on sharing of audio for you guys. We're going to lead in with another new Coco Thoughts from Samuel Gimes. Samuel Gimes has been busy thinking, and we've got thoughts to share. So enjoy the latest Coco Thoughts from Samuel Gimes and some commercials, and we'll be back in just a bit here, boys and girls.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. If you can stop Superman with kryptonite, can you stop Nick Marotta with $5 ukuleles?
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronics store in Australia.
As you start your journey to Coco Fest, you notice the road ahead is littered with rogue furniture. You realize you are driving on the Nightmare Highway. The new game for the Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. Nightmare Highway. Stunning low-resolution visuals. Digital to analog converted sound. 100% machine language and basic. What are they saying about Nightmare Highway? Steve B. York says, of all the games released this year, this is one of them. L. Kurt S. Boyle says, this will not be on my site. Nick Marionette says, crikey, look at the size of that croc. Get your complimentary copy of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
At cancanmakeit.com. If you got it for free, you paid too much.
Coming soon.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened. This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored teenagers blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone phreaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. A true story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
All right, we're back with more CoCoTALK. Wasn't sure if there's anything coming after that. I'm like, well, fade to black, fade to black. It's still black. There's nothing here.
System's been hacked.
Just
Yeah.
watch out, Nick Marotta.
Well,
Yes.
thank you, Samuel. That caught me totally off guard.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm melting.
I swear, I've gotten like at least $20 out of this $5 ukulele by now.
Oh, well, you've gotten your mileage out of that one. Yes. Well, we have a guy. He is the host of the Color Computer Games List website. He is the co-creator of the original Nitrous 9 project. He is the spearhead of the ease of use edition of Nitrous 9, and he also happens to be Canadian, and he's going to give us some news. So what is going on this week in the world of news? Curtis Boyle, take it away.
Take it away, Bill Noble. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's start doing the old screen share. Okay, first up, Jim Gerrie, of course, has been busy as he usually is.
Jim Gerrie.
I think he's only rivaled by Ed Snyder for consistent output. He's been working on the Akalabeth game on the MC10. So he actually gave a shout out to me because I gave him a suggestion to speed up the text a little bit, which he actually did. And then he mentions that we're planning on trying to maybe do a Basic 09 port later on.
Excellent.
So I won't bother playing the video because we've seen it a few times before. It's just a little bit faster on the text screen. But then he did an update a couple days later, and he's hitting a bit of a snag. So I will switch to that link here. He's running out of memory. Even on the MC10, the MC10 actually compresses BASIC a little bit better than the Coco does. So he's not sure if he's going to be able to fit it because he's only got a couple hundred bytes free now, and he figures he's probably going to need another 2 to 3K in order to finish the original version of the game. So I've reached out to him a little bit. There's a few ideas to shrink it a little bit. I don't know if it'll be enough, but we'll give it a shot to see if we can actually get it to fit. If not, though, this might become a Basic 09 only project to get the entire Akalabeth game going because you do have more room there. So we'll see how that goes. But it's kind of disappointing you got this close, and the game is playable now. It just doesn't have all the elements the original Akalabeth has.
Hey, Bill Pierce has joined us again. Hey, Bill, how are you? And Ben Drake's VR dude is here. Hey, Ben. Hey, Bill.
And Curtis, what's memory capacity MC10 is he using? Just 16K or 4K or?
No, he's using the MCX 128, which is actually giving him like a 32K.
Right.
Basically.
Wow.
Because both the Coco and the MC10 with the MCX basic, which adds the high-res drawing commands and stuff that he's using in the game there, basically gives you a 32K on both. but he's running out of room at that point because the original Apple, I think, gave you like 40K or something like that free, if I remember. Or is it 48, something like that? So hopefully we can get it to work. If not, it'll become a Basic 9 OS9 project, because then Basic 9 you can actually write a program that is 40 or 48K. So.
Okay. Well, good luck with that, Jim. We hope we want to see this thing see the light of day. It looks cool. Looks somewhat Daggerath-ish, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1979 is when it came out. It was what started the whole Ultima series. So.
Okay.
If you've played Ultima. Next up, Roger Taylor is sending out feelers on the Facebook group about a computer on a channel for the Roku, which will actually basically let you run a Coco 3 emulator through your Roku TV box.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
So I don't know if I don't think he's got any updates like demos or anything like that on how it's going to work. But I don't have a Roku, so I can't really speak how the interface would work. Steve, I believe you have one, don't you?
No, I do not. Hold on one second.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't have one, but it is kind of like a smart TV box, and it does run apps. So I would assume, it is possible.
I'm just wondering, like, how would you emulate a keyboard or something like that? Or
well, if you
read
through the threads, I think he mentioned it would have to be like an on-screen keyboard. But I believe somebody had also mentioned that depending on the type of Roku you have, you might be able to plug in a USB device. Some of the Rokus are sticks, and some of them are boxes. And so depending on which version of Roku you have, I would imagine that's going to dictate your input choices. But I think Roger had mentioned in the thread a possible on-screen keyboard.
And the Roku uses some sort of Linux variant as its base operating system, right?
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't have a
You can control the Roku with a smartphone as well, so it'd be cool if you could do a virtual keyboard on your smartphone.
Yeah, that might be it. There is a virtual remote app for your Roku that you can run as an app.
So did the thread mention that there's an Apple emulator already for the Roku? Like this, somebody's already done this for another vintage PC?
Are you telling us that there is one? Or are you asking us? Are you aware of one that already?
I'm asking. I thought I'd read someplace.
Oh, okay. I don't know. But Curtis, we're looking at Curtis's screen, so I'm sitting here trying to use my mouse to scroll up, and I can't. So,
yes, Master.
Let's see what Roger said to Eric. That's really what I want to see.
One of the first programs. One of the first programs. 10.
You go, Ron.
10. Print. High. Go to 10. Software.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what other further details he has in this and how the interface will work. Maybe you need certain versions of the Roku in order to do this. Do Rokus allow you to like hook up joysticks and game controllers too, or?
Again, I don't have one. I'm not sure.
Bob, I'm asking more Ron because I know he has one.
Okay.
Well, you could do stuff with your like Nick said on your phone.
I think it's got I have one. I think it's got a USB connector on the back, but I've never done anything with mine except watch Netflix like everybody else.
Okay, James Jones is saying that he believes it has a keyboard. I'm not sure if he's referring to a physical keyboard or an on-screen keyboard, but there definitely should be an on-screen keyboard you would use to enter in like passwords when you need to sign into your Netflix account and things like that.
It does.
I do have a Roku and would be happy to try out whatever Roger comes up with, is what James Jones is saying. Dave's hobbies. Go ahead, Dave O'Connor.
I was going to say, at the risk of sounding completely not with it, what is a Roku? I've never heard of a Roku.
It's a set-top TV box that you can use to stream stuff off the net. So it's like an Apple TV or what's the Android one called?
Fire Stick or Fire.
That's the Amazon one.
It's a smart TV box. So for
okay.
anybody who has a dumb TV that doesn't have apps built in, you can plug this in and make it a smart TV.
It gives you Netflix and a bunch of channels and stuff.
The one thing that makes Roku somewhat unique over a lot of these, because everybody makes a box that you can run apps on, right? So there's Chromecast, there's Fire Sticks, there's all kinds of stuff like that, right? But Roku actually has its own kind of network of original streaming content. And so there are people who are programming shows for Roku that you can watch that are exclusive to being a Roku subscriber. And Roger Taylor has had on there for a while the Coco TV channel, where he's got certain content that you can watch. For those who have a Roku, you can subscribe to that channel and watch certain content. For a period of time, we were actually simulcasting live to the Coco channel through Roku for a while. It just became a little bit of a logistical thing to do. But it is neat. So he's got things on there. So if anybody does have a Roku, you know, go to channels and do a search and search for the Coco TV channel. You can subscribe to that. I believe there are episodes of the Coco Crew podcast available for replay, the kind of the YouTube versions they made where you can kind of see the transcript and see the little audio wave file.
Yeah, and it does have a YouTube app too. So, I mean, you could even watch CoCoTALK on there through that.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, the reason I was asking is, like, I know the Apple TV, they're really pushing the whole new game system, and now it works with Microsoft Xbox controllers and PlayStation 4 controllers and all kinds of stuff. So you can actually do all this stuff there. But of course, Apple's strict on copyright, so getting a Coco ROM based thing on there is probably impossible. So I was just wondering if the Roku had the same capability.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to. Can you post a link to that thread in the YouTube chat so people can follow it if you're not following it? It's in the TR Sadie Coco Facebook group for those of you who are a member there. So again, I'm going to be speculating out loud here. I don't want to speak on behalf of Roger. I'm not a developer, but I know enough to be dangerous. I know Roku, there are many things called Roku, and there's many generations of Roku. And so I'm assuming the hardware platform, not all Roku devices are going to be technologically equal to each other. So your mileage may vary on what your particular Roku device is capable of doing. I just bought a couple Fire Stick 4Ks. So I know my things can run higher resolution than other ones. And so, you know, older generation Rokus might not run this emulator well. It's hard to say. And it's hard to say where is the emulator going to run? Is it going to run on the CPU of the Roku device? Is it going to be streaming from somewhere else? I don't know. So we'll really need to kind of follow Roger's thread on that. But it's an interesting idea, right? An emulator. I mean, there's MC10 emulators and Java emulators of the Coco that you can run in a browser. So it's not a far stretch to think that you couldn't run a Coco on one of these smart devices, because they're all kind of like ARM processor, Linux kernel type things, right? So
yeah, and we do have web-based Coco emulators already. So I mean, you might just have to hit that web page and away you go type thing. So
yeah, it's a neat idea. It's a neat idea. It'd be interesting to see what you can do with it, but just another way to experience a Coco. You know, and for those not aware, Roger is also responsible for 2 different hardware emulated projects here. What became known as the Matchbox Coco used to be called Coco on a chip or Coco on a stick. I don't remember.
Coco on a chip.
Coco on a chip. That name became Matchbox Coco, and now he's working on a project called Mr. Coco. So Roger has been working on some FPGA hardware emulated Coco alternatives that are compatible with old stuff and offer new features. So if anybody knows a thing or two about emulating a Coco, definitely Roger Taylor is one of those guys, you know?
Yeah, he knows the Coco itself quite well because he's been doing software for the Coco for like 30 years. He did the projector, and he did a bunch of PD games that he released back in the day.
And he's released a few of the development environments, the Phoenix IDE, and
he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He just released NetMates.
NetMate, which is the terminal emulator, right?
Right.
Yeah, the ANSI one.
ANSI.
Yeah.
The one that actually rivals Sockmaster's Twilight Term, actually beats it in some ways.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
Yeah, that's throwing down the gauntlet there.
Cool. So yeah, that's neat. It'd be interesting to see where this goes and what we can do with it. Another way to enjoy the Coco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then unfortunately, Amigos Retro Gaming, which is Aaron and Boat is the other guy's nickname. They've been releasing their first Coco-related stuff. He was actually in the chat earlier, but he had to go, so unfortunately he's going to miss us promoting his stuff. But they got kind of busy with Coco stuff here. So the first one up, we did a live stream of some classic computer gaming last week. Now, they normally have these club meetings done once a month, and it's a classic computer club, but a lot of their members, there was one guy in the hospital, and some other ones were visiting him in the hospital because he was having major surgery. So they just had a few of them there at this particular meeting, so they decided not to have a standard meeting, which apparently is like you open up hardware and take a look around and explain different computers and stuff. They actually decided to have a gaming one. So they started with the Atari 600 XL, and then they went on to the Coco, and a couple of us were in the chat. Paul Fiscarelli, myself, Rick Adams popped by for a bit. I think Nick Morantes was watching. And we just started, throwing suggestions. Now, they only had a 128K Coco 3, so they were limited basically to Coco 1 and 2 games and the smaller Coco 3 games, but they had a lot of fun, and they were kind of amazed at some of the capabilities of the Coco 3 because they hadn't really seen too much of that before. I won't play too much of it here, but I'll just kind of fast forward. Like here, they're playing Xenix with the wrong color set. I'd explain them how the composite versus RGB worked.
Okay.
That type of thing. So, but they went through. They had quite a few suggestions. They're actually pretty good game players. So, I mean, some of these games are just playing raw for the first time. They actually got pretty far. So, does a whole bunch anyway. It's several. Actually, literally, the Coco segment I think was almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Rifling through Coco games. So.
No, that's one we missed last night. Crystal Castles. That might be good with the trackball.
Yeah. Well, we want to do that trackball special. So
Yeah. Donkey King. Dodge 'em. In Machine. Oh, see, I was thinking about that one too, the Bagman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like they've got a Coco SDC.
There's one you did play last night.
Although mine was kind of glitched out. The sprites were.
Yeah, theirs wasn't. So you must have a bad copy. So I'll have to figure out what happened there.
Looks like they're in West Virginia.
Yes, they are. Hurricane, West Virginia, I believe is the name of the town.
No, there's Nick Marionette's game, huh?
Yep.
Shock
Another one we
Trooper.
did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see where Hurricane, West Virginia is. How far that is.
It's about 7.5 hours from Chicago, so I've opened an invitation to them to come out to Coco Fest. It'll be kind of nice to have them around too. So
Z89. There you go.
I'm really gonna have to look see where that is. I
I'm
mean,
curious,
I can look out my window and see West Virginia. So, but West Virginia is a large state.
And you could tell by
Ooh,
looking
what's that?
at the picture that the guys were in West Virginia. Is that how you figured that out?
No, but their logo is the shape of the state of West Virginia.
Ah.
yeah, they're in Hurricane, West Virginia. Hurricane's the name of the town. So
I thought maybe it was something about the drapes in the background.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. What
This
game is this
here
right
is
here?
actually a Dragon port, Stevie.
But what is it? It looks interesting.
I'm trying to remember the name of that one.
Looks a little bit like Cashman, a little bit like very platformy.
And West Virginia
Big
just has a
retro
very
show
unique
that they have
shape.
rock
That's how I could see it.
I can't remember the name of it, but isn't it down there, like right down there in Virginia, North Carolina, in that area? I don't know what you're talking about. You're so out of the loop. Yeah, why can't you think of this thing Aaron can't think of? How dare
Unfortunately,
you.
it's such a long video. It's hard for me to pinpoint
Yeah.
a certain timestamp.
It looks. Yeah, we're gonna have to try to find some more interesting Coco. I had fun playing Coco games last night. So. Pocket Robin Hood. Okay, Robin Hood. We'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and Pocket Money's one of those companies in England that did the.
Okay, like a cassette.
Well, they did the cheap games. It was kind of like the Novasoft of the Dragon type
okay.
thing. That's why it's called Pocket Money, because basically it was like £5 a game or something like that, rather
Okay.
than the normal price. So.
All right, cool.
Yep. A
Well,
ton of them anyway.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. Matter of fact, just knowing that these guys are doing this now kind of inspired me to do some stuff last night. I figured, man, it's been so long since I've done a Coco gaming video. I don't want to be forgotten.
Yeah, and the interesting is too the two hosts of the show. I mean, one of them grew up with the Coco. That was his first major computer, so he knew a lot of these games and had them back in the day too. So he's quite familiar with Coco 1 and 2 stuff. And the other person has never touched a Coco in his life, though except I think he did see them in school. So you're getting the two perspectives of somebody that's has a history with it and then a fondness for it, and then somebody who has basically no contact with it at all. So you're getting an honest opinion from both sides, which is kind of an interesting perspective.
Cool stuff. Good job, guys. We're glad to have you adding lots of more content for the community. We need more Coco. Got to have more cowbell.
They did a burst
Absolutely.
this week. So this is the first official episode of their Coco podcast. This is the video version of it on YouTube. So they reviewed Poltergeist and then Sailor Man.
Okay.
So I won't play any of that, but you guys can go see it on YouTube. They also have the audio version of the podcast, which can be found here.
I'll have to subscribe to that since I
For me
spend more time on the
personally,
road.
yeah, for me personally, it doesn't make much sense doing a game review site with just audio because games are visual for the most part. So I would prefer to watch it on video. But yeah, if you're on the road and you just want to kind of hear them talking about it, then it's definitely a way to get it.
Yeah.
I really like their graphic design, the Coco Show thing with the color computer thing and the TRS-80 red, green, blue. It looks really well done.
And they accept Patreon contributions. They have different levels too, where you get like magnets which are Coco related magnets and stuff that you get. But they also have Patreons. Like if you pay a certain amount per month, then you become part of the board that picks the games they're going to do in the next episode. I thought it was a kind of a cool way to get the community involved while getting them to fess up some money. So maybe we'll
Evie, do you have magnets?
I do not have magnets.
We'll include them with the floppy disks.
Well, since there's with the floppy with the cassette copy of CoCoTALK, you get a magnet. So
they're good for sticking your floppies up to your whiteboard.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. They're also good for putting on your cassettes too, just so you can mark the cassette. It's a Coco cassette.
And how much money would it take for Stevie to get to level 2?
There you go.
Stevie was kicking butt last night on the old games. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, Stevie, I have to say, I was impressed. Some of your gameplay yesterday was pretty darn good. You made it through multiple levels of Cashman and Shock Trooper. You were into the second set of levels on your first try.
Must have been that high quality John Strong joystick I was using.
Maybe. I've always been just faulting you just for being just bad game player here, but I think you proved it was just a stick all along. So. And then Aaron, the guy that has had the Coco back in the past when he was growing up, he actually just did a kind of a live stream of him playing Sailor Man, and he was quite good at it. You could tell he played it a lot in the day because he rifled through all 3 screens first try. And then he starts showing like the Inviso screens and some more advanced levels where Brutus will come and hit you from below you or above you, and he starts throwing bottles at you like the sea hags do and stuff. It was pretty interesting. He's actually quite good at it. And
that's right there where you have it frozen. I have never seen that where it looks like Popeye is standing up with his hand in the air in front of Brutus. It's like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at that freeze frame right there.
Yeah, I think that's when you fall into the water or something.
He's probably climbing out.
Yeah, I think he's falling into the water.
But it's kind of cool that it was frozen right there.
Yeah. And then he kind of goes through the whole option screen, which he's quite keen on. The one nice thing about it, and I kind of forgot about this, but it's kind of like great for players of different levels of difficulty because you can actually change the screen start and the level of play difficulty for each player individually from each other. So you can have a person who's never played before gets level 1, and somebody who's like an expert can play on level 8 right off the start, even if you're playing head to head.
Right.
And there's a Stevie setting.
One thing they brought up, which I remember from back in the day as well, was how gutsy the ad was. It was like in no way trying to hide that it was a clone by saying, the can of collard greens with S written on it.
Yes.
For collard greens.
Big fat guy eating a sandwich and
yeah. Old ugly wrinkly sea woman or something.
Yeah.
What's the name of olive oil? What was her name?
Elsie.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Like here, Steve, have you seen these little circle faces that come out of the
No,
window?
it looks like Evil Otto. No.
And I'd never seen him do it. And again, I never played on the higher levels, and sure enough, he will chuck empties, as the ad says. I should mention that the ad for this is one of the all-time great ads.
What is that?
Gaming.
I've never seen him bouncing.
Apparently, the
Evil
real Popeye in the arcade has these too.
It's funny, I couldn't find just a picture. I had to go look through magazines to find it.
I've never seen that.
I guess because it's sort of notorious in a way. I've heard other people.
It's only level 5. You start on level 4 normally.
The people in ads.
That's sad.
I had to dig it up to put it on our
yeah, that's cool.
channel's Discord. Play.
Yeah.
So we actually.
So a couple of things there. If you haven't played Sailor Man too much, there's a few things that you'll find you probably haven't seen before because he actually went through and manually set it to the later levels just to show you some of this stuff.
Watch or listen to our other shows.
I had seen Brutus get you from below, but I've never seen him reach down from above.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
When he does that.
Yeah, that I've seen. Oh, what are we looking at here? Ed Snyder.
Ed Snyder has had 2 posts on this. This is his new Coco 2 mini board with a combo 2 slot multi-pack built into a cube shape.
The Coco
and he was kind
Cube.
Of sending out some designs of what he was planning on doing. So I'll zoom a couple of those as we go through here.
He's getting lots of feedback.
What do you know about that?
I'm not surprised.
So here's his original, sketch he did at the beginning of the week, and he's showing, here's your 2 slots that are going to be coming out and how the thing fits together. And it looks pretty cool. He's kind of going through and figuring out what buttons and ports and where to put them for the joysticks.
Now, what is that? A speaker?
Yep.
Yep.
It's got a subwoofer in it.
And then his keyboard, in an external case.
Oh wow! Look at this. This has actually been rendered, and it looks cool, like Coco Cube.
Look, Jason, he's using a key to turn it on too, just like yours.
He's got a key. Yeah, look at that.
Almost like a Mac Mini almost.
As long as it's got a red key, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Gotta have a red key.
With the stop on there.
Actually, it reminds me of the old G4 Cube, too. Remember that one that we used to call the tissue box because it had that slot in the top for the CD-ROM?
Well, that could be like a toaster. It's got 2 slots in the back.
something like that would be, to redo, just take the electronics from inside it would be something that'd be ideal for my Model 4 Coco project.
Yeah, and here you can see, like, here's the composite outs and the joystick ports, and
looks awesome.
Yeah,
he's definitely done some engineering to it.
And then later on, he did this update where all of a sudden he's actually got the prototype fully made, and he's got, the 2 slots filled with some sample cartridges, kind of showing how the whole thing's going to do. So he's already prototyping within a week of.
So that little DIN pin in the corner, I'm assuming that's what the VGA breakout comes out of right there.
Which one?
There's in the bottom left-hand corner. It looks like a little mini DIN. Where how do you connect VGA to this?
That's on the other side, I think, isn't it?
It's got Coco it's Coco VGA built in.
That looks more like a power connector in the lower left.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to figure out where's the VGA
like
connector.
Barrel connector.
VGA's, I think.
In the front.
Right here.
Front. There you go, right there.
Well, that looks wider though. That looks.
That's keyboard, I think.
That's a wider connector. I'm not seeing where the video output's at, but it doesn't matter right now. That's cool though. That's wider than a VGA, but maybe it breaks out into something.
Let's say it's probably keyboard. Yeah.
Looks like a VGA in this picture.
Bruce Moore says this is the Coco Borg cube, right? So resistance is futile. It's neat. So maybe that's power.
It's a nice little compact one, especially considering it's combining a 2-slot multi-pack along with.
Yeah, and so those are the 2 joystick DIN pins right there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, composite video and audio out.
Yeah, so we just got to figure out where's the where's the VGA or S video coming from.
Isn't this his Coco 1 and 2 clone, which is only composite video? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, this one is.
The VGA was going to be an add-on card. I thought he said.
Yeah, he's going to do a satellite board with some extra features.
Yeah. So this wouldn't have VGA as is.
Oh, okay. So it's not a standard. Standard output.
No.
But you could add like Coco VGA to it or something.
Yeah, I'll probably add that later. Yeah, but
he was going to have a satellite board you plugged in with a whole bunch of extra functionality.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, it's neat though. I think the question in everyone's mind is, does it include a real-time clock?
Oh, exactly. Otherwise, it's not worth the wait.
Don't bother making a Coco if I had an RTC. Come on.
And I want 16 slots.
16
well, yeah, you want to have all your things plugged in at once, like Orchestra 90, Speech Sound Pack.
Nick, you're starting to sound like David Ladd.
RS-232.
You should go seek treatment. You should go seek treatment.
I think he didn't he. Was it this one he had the APL3 chip built in, or was that the Coco 3 one?
Coco 3.
Must have been the Coco 3 one.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Okay, next up. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the guy's real name because we've talked to him about it a few weeks before. He's been doing some Coco videos on YouTube. He just calls himself Share Squid, and I did have his real name from the past.
Share Squid is John Day, who's also working on Return to ROM. Yeah.
Thank you for remembering that because my memory failed me.
Mm-hmm.
But he did 2 little Downland related ones. He did one tips and tricks, and he plays through, I think, about to level chamber 6 or something like that, and gives you some tips for playing the game. The fact that you can actually jump onto a wall and hang there if there's a little bit of a jagged edge, and some of the timings you have to do, safe spots when you have the boulders coming out, things like that. I won't go play through the whole thing, but let's find a little.
Yeah, I remember doing a live stream of this one time, and I actually got further than I'd ever gotten in my entire life.
I'll get to that in a second. Did you wind up rage quitting on that video?
I know I swore a lot.
This game has got to be second only to Popstar Pilot as the hardest game that's ever been made for the Coco.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, this is way harder than Popstar. Popstar's a snap.
Oh man, not for me.
Thank you.
Let me.
Right, Nick.
Popstar is like.
What about Nick Marenti's Pac-Man or Gate Crasher?
No, those things are shite.
And then this is, I was going to make a joke about Stevie's gameplay on his next video he did for Downland here, but actually watching Stevie play last night, I have to retract some of that because Stevie's vastly improved lately with his new joysticks. So.
Well, speaking of Downland and joysticks, just so you know, I will be receiving, hopefully by next week's show, the new joystick that Sheldon McDonald has been working on that he specifically wants me to test with Downland. So it's the one that looks like a Sega Genesis style kind of controller, but it's got the little thumbstick on the left and the 2 buttons on the right, so it looks more like a 90s style controller. So he's sending me one of those, and he's like very specifically, he's like, you got to do downland. I want to see you do those corner moves with this controller. I think that's what he designed it for, you know.
Okay, cool. We'll have to take a look at that. This one's
So-
called Downland, Dumb Ways to Die.
As the same guy as the Sheriff Squid too?
Same guy.
Dumb ways to die. That's anyway in this game. They all
So
suck.
like getting by acid drops, getting hit by the boulders,
Oh,
getting hit by
that's
the bat, and so a little bit of humor on that particular one here, because the first one he was going to try to play through the entire game because apparently he's good enough. He can do that in one shot usually.
Wow.
And he was time limited because his phone only has a certain amount of memory capacity for video. He said he has to get it done in like 6 minutes before he runs out of room. So he's going to try it again later on from what he said in the first video. But anyway, that was a nice little humorous bit there on ways to die in Downland, which I'm sure
dumb
we're
ways
all
to die.
experts on.
Yeah. There are plenty of smart ways to die, but let's go over some of the dumb ones.
This one here, Brian Weasler, our very own, has pictures and now a demo video up of the Dazzle video capture device, which is not one I'd heard of before. Are you guys familiar with that particular one?
Negative, but Pinnacle. I know the name Pinnacle. So yeah. Okay, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd shaped device here, but apparently it's the composite capture off of Coco quite well, which Coco's notorious for having a rather crappy composite signal.
Yeah.
So here's him capturing Demon Attack.
Yeah. No, it looks good.
That looks pretty clean.
With a slightly corrupted version of Demon Attack.
Yeah, you don't see the author's name in there. The thing I noticed there is you're seeing some of the interleaving too, which tells you that it's doing this at a highly quick pace. Because what happens now is that with modern technology, we're seeing things that the old analog stuff wasn't capable of showing us. And so you can see when it flashes screens how you can see the even and odd lines there. That's the interleaving that goes on with CRTs. It's it's an interleave thing where it comes in 2 passes.
Yep.
So that's
Showing
just
fields
showing
rather than frames.
that's just showing you how quickly this is gathering all that data. That's good.
One thing I don't think he did mention in here, what is the price of one of these? Because this is actually one that's intriguing.
I'm not
to
sure.
me.
Did he post the link in the original thread? Because we could look it up.
Didn't he say he got it on eBay?
Does it do HD as well, or is it?
No, it
standard?
looks like this is probably fairly analog SD type stuff.
Okay.
He says, I believe this version to be the older version. Plugs in the USB port. You got it on eBay, yeah. If you're looking for one, they're easily available on eBay. At least until
Okay.
everyone
Well,
starts
hopefully
to
somebody will come across the link. Yeah, I know Brian had been throwing out a bunch of questions to me in Discord about what I've used and things to look for in doing captures. So I know he wants to start getting into this. And Brian's also, I think, going to be setting up OBS to be a backup streamer for us too. So it'd be good to see him getting this stuff going. Bruce Moore saying, my 12-year-old son thinks pop star is pretty easy. Good for you, Jacob.
It is.
Good for you.
It is for him.
Nick, I think we're going to have to do a special sometime of how to beat Popstar.
Looks like between 12 and
Which
20
Nick?
bucks on eBay.
Okay.
For that capture thing. So really
Yeah.
cheap. Yeah.
How much was that? I missed that, sorry.
$12.59 to $19.95.
Okay.
Like
so
$20.
Oh, wow.
$20. It's not bad.
Those are used.
Yeah, well.
Used prices.
I might
Yeah,
have to,
okay,
I
this
might have to get
cheap.
one of those.
But yeah, pretty cheap.
Okay, this last block of the news, because it wasn't a ton happening this week, that person that I've mentioned before, Pets SAS JLM1, or Jim1, I should say, on YouTube has been doing a ton of gameplay videos from every platform, but he's been doing quite a few Dragon ones, going alphabetically through, as I mentioned before.
Okay.
So he's hitting the B's and C's this last week here. So I didn't do them all because there's some, fairly substandard basic games and stuff too, but there's just a ton of them. I'd be doing this whole darn episode if we did that. But I picked a couple that, I hadn't seen before in the Dragon, or ones that I hadn't seen so long I'd forgotten about them. And to give the Dragon some love, and also the fact that we were talking about doing a possible, Dragon games on a Coco, because most of us haven't seen them, not being familiar with the Dragon market in the UK. So there's a ton of games we've never seen before. So I've got a whole bunch of them queued up here just to give you a bit of a start. You guys let me know if the audio is too loud.
Okay.
This one's called Cave Fighter. And he's emulating it, obviously.
No, that
It's
sounds
a
good.
scramble type game with some extra bits. It's a little flashy, that's one problem with it, but that's the collision detection test.
Yeah, it crashes pretty well. Okay, it's not horrible. The The fuel tanker things look very similar to the ones in Whirlybird.
Yep. But you got these little berries you got to shoot your way through.
Yeah, interesting.
A little bit of extra gameplay.
It's kind of like the game we were playing. What was one of the games we were playing where you had to like blow up the maze last night, right? Blow up parts of the maze.
Yeah, which is essentially what you're doing here with those bars. So.
Yeah, some destructible environments.
Yeah.
I mean, the speed is good. It's just unfortunate that it looks a little choppy and flashy.
Yeah. Because I think he's scrolling the screen, and basically before he scrolls the train, he shuts all your player shape off, so it doesn't scroll it too, and then draws the new scene, and then redraws you back on. So.
Okay. Cool. That one is called what again?
That one was called Cave Fighter.
Okay.
From 1983. This one called Caverns of Doom from 1982.
Caverns of Doom. No, text adventure.
Yeah, I didn't put. There was quite a few text adventures. I put this one in particular because it's not just a normal text adventure. It actually has some RPG elements like hit points and.
Your lamp is worth 5 gold points, huh? Knife is worth 5 gold points, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
A living zombie, which is kind of a contradiction in terms, isn't it?
A living zombie, huh?
Kind of like jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
But here you can see it actually has some of the RPG Dungeons and Dragons style for hit points and
Kick
armor. And
zombie.
power.
I don't understand. Kick. Kill the son of a bitch already.
And the status bar changes color depending whether you're going to fight or not. So.
Okay, everything is dark. What do you want to do? Light match. I don't understand.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about the guy that's doing these videos here, he's obviously never played in these games before. He's literally, when he fires it up, he's trying to figure it out as he goes along.
Flip light switch. Why is this not working?
I'm surprised he's not speaking into his mouse going, computer.
All right. Clap hands. Does this room have the clapper? Alexa, lights on.
Why do my lights keep flickering?
Yeah. At any rate, it was another interesting take because it was a type of a game mixture for a text adventure game.
Absolutely, yeah.
I hadn't seen before, so that was kind of neat.
Cool.
Next up is Capture the Flag.
Wow,
this is one of the ones that has a nice splash screen on it when you're loading it.
Ouch.
Must be British.
Ouch.
It's illegal to hire it.
Too loud?
No, it's just the colors are hurting my eyes.
Sensitive 90s guy.
Must be British because it's illegal to hire it. HIRE, which is a British term.
Bunch of options of game.
Is this in basic?
Yes, this is.
Okay.
Now, these Capture the Flag with the hexagonal shaped things, I mean, there was Avalon Hill used to make board games like this too, so I don't know if it's based on this.
So is this kind of like a Minesweeper, sort of?
Not really. You actually have to move your pieces around and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Capture the Flag. You can have the optional, the flag can move, or it's just in a static position, or... I've never played this, so I don't know how.
And what is C? Is that the guy who's trying to come and capture it?
I think so. I think that's the one he's moving.
Oh, A, B, and C. Those are your pieces, maybe? Your 3 different pieces to...
Might be.
I'm not understanding why... Okay, I can...
Yeah, you'd have to read the manual and figure out exactly what's going on.
Oh, well, forget it. That's never going to happen.
Read the manual. It's got words and everything.
That's why we went into computers, so we wouldn't have to read.
That's right.
This next one, it was a later one, actually, and what the author, I believe, was the guy that did the original Dragon emulator. So this came out in 1990. Oh, no, this is a different one. Duncan Bryan did this one. Called Buzz and Birdie. Now, the guy that was playing it here couldn't quite figure out what to do, so we only see the first screen, and to be honest, I don't know what he should have done differently either, but just to give you a little demo of it. It kind of reminds me of those AGD games we were seeing.
Does he scream and curse like I would?
Yeah, it's like one of Stevie's reviews.
He doesn't record any of his speech during this. He just records the games. So.
No, who are you?
You're that waspy thing up in the upper left corner.
Okay, Buzz and Bernie. A lot of these things remind me of a lot of those AGD games. Okay.
Yeah, this one does. Yeah.
So he's able to move. Now he's falling. I guess kind of like gravity. I'm assuming you need to get a key.
Well, that's what we thought too, but it looks like he gets stuck there and can't get it. So I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. But I won't go through the rest of the video because he was trying to figure it out and he couldn't figure it out either. So maybe we'll have to try it and find a manual.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Bust Out.
Bust Out.
This is a game that, of course, we've seen bazillion versions of, but this is the first one I've seen using one of the higher res semi-graphics modes.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing. Dragonfire Services, copyright 1988.
Yeah, so it's a later version of it too.
So what does the ball look like if it's semi-graphics? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see, huh?
Yeah, some options you can pick from too.
Size of bricks. Music. Ooh. Do you want a fast bat? Is the bat your paddle?
Yep.
Must be.
Okay. What are you playing, a game of cricket right now?
Yeah.
We're thinking. Wow. How long are we going to spend on the actual startup screen here? Okay. Okay. Not a bad ball. You can hear all the DAC noise, which you get a lot of this on emulators. Things that are using the joystick, you can hear that kind of DAC noise.
One-bit sound in particular that most of them do pretty bad. But you notice even the scores using the semi-graphics.
Yeah,
but
that's
in
actually
graphics, so this would work on a Coco 3 with the poke.
This is actually pretty good. I mean, this is a perfect use of an SG type thing for, what the hell do you need for Pong or Breakout, Oh, background music.
Yep. I'd like to try this on real hardware because that buzzing sound. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
that
if that's
DAC noise is killing me.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It's weird to me that the bricks are so big.
Well, that was an adjustment.
Option.
It's an option. Yeah.
He chose the largest size.
Yeah.
You picked the Duplo bricks.
It's not the size of the brick; it's what you build with
Lego.
them.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And there goes the show.
Actually, I'm intrigued. I want to try this one. I want to try this game. We're going to try this one tonight, Curtis, on our second marathon.
And then you get a little victory music.
Yeah, some music.
That's good.
Yeah. It's quite intimidating for a bust-out game.
Absolutely. You probably could have saved a lot of space if they just did simple numbers too, like kind of like what you have in your LED watches and stuff. You could have done a simpler number and made them shorter and had more room for play space. But that's a nice font thing they came up with there. That's cool.
Yeah, and I like the customizability of the game too. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of options. Speed and ball and
brick size. Size,
we have Matchy. Matchy gives it his approval. Matchy says this is a nice semi-graphics game.
Yeah, and he's done some semi-graphics games, so he would know. Okay, next up is Bug Diver.
Bug Diver.
Now this one reminds me of Shark Treasure. I think the basic gameplay is similar.
Okay.
Remember the old Computerware game?
Mm-hmm. Use the arrow keys to move bug. Use a mirror beetle. As a mirror beetle, you've got to be fast and outswim the merciless bug-eating fish whilst stealing...
No, you're too
slow. Oh, that is cool. Yeah. So you got to get to the bottom. So this is very much like that Shark Diver game. But there is a spit ton of fish there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of a bit like Frogger, but in an ocean version.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the fact too when you get eaten, the fish will turn to look at you and
and taunt you.
Yeah, this is cool.
That was
psych.
Quite a feeding frenzy there.
And what the hell are you supposed to do with that treasure? Did he get it?
Look like I think he's supposed to be getting those things to the side.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be getting his.
So not the treasure. So those things down there, huh?
Maybe you got to pick them up and put them in the box.
Oh, maybe.
I like
that's
it when
impossible.
they face you.
Yeah, that was my.
That looks pretty difficult.
Frickin' evil game.
Well, Shark Treasure got that way too in the later ones too.
Oh, Shark Treasure would be a good one to kind of palette hack, don't you think?
Yeah.
You can make the sharks gray or something, That'd be kind of cool to play
you
with
keep
palettes.
the blue water type thing, but you can fix some of the rest of the graphics up. Yeah.
This looks good.
Yeah, if only I want to see him get one of the bloody things now. It's like
he didn't.
All right. So that's watching that screen just makes me want to see. I get one stupid thing.
Yeah. Same.
Next one up is Bubble Buster, which is kind of a clone of Popcorn the Dragon had.
Oh, neat.
This is from that pocket money, dirt cheap, 5 pounds, which is like, $9 or $10 at the time.
Electric color.
Yeah, at least it's spelled color right.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, it's
so
like
this
a
is
Kaboom.
yeah,
Activision
a more
had
like
a-
an Avalanche Kaboom. Yeah.
Yeah, Activision had a
It's like Popcorn. It's basically
Yeah.
Popcorn in PMO 3.
Popcorn, or
PMO
Activision
3,
had one
yeah.
called Kaboom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Popcorn was inspired on the game Avalanche.
From the arcade, yeah.
From the
70s.
arcade, and everything else kind of sprung from that. Neat.
Yep.
I just don't know why so many people chose the green background. I would have used a dark background color, but to each their own.
I think some
Well, you
people
can-
were
you
used to
can
green
choose it
screen
there,
monitors
though.
back then. I think it's the real reason.
Yeah.
Because people, that's what your terminals were back then. If that's what you did at work or at school, that probably
they
felt the
hated-
most normal
They
to you.
hated the
Now
border.
look at this. You
Maybe
got
they
your
hated- maybe they hated the border.
and
They
then
didn't want a border around it.
The
here's
green
your
screen monitor. Green screen monitors, though, were usually the other way around. It was usually black background with the green text in it.
True. Okay, what is this?
This is Brock's Kingdom from 1985 by
Is that
Blabby.
Homer Frick? Is that Homer Simpson? I mean, what the hell's going on here?
Well, you got to wander through these mazes, and you can get hit by creatures, and you have to navigate. I can't remember if you get damaged when you hit the walls, and you have to find a gun, which you can see the icon for in the lower left there.
Okay.
And that other amulet or whatever the heck it is.
Okay.
Act with excitement.
Whoops.
That's cool.
Fast forward a little bit here. It says something more exciting happens. Then you
Oh,
get
a
some creatures. You got to do a lot of
spider.
timing.
Yeah.
What are those little? What are
This
the,
guy
What are
tracks
the
you.
actual? What are the things
walls?
actually in the? Yeah. What are they actually? Are they?
Oh, it looks like a
demon's
looks like
head or
a,
something,
a
yeah.
something with horns or antlers or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Or
does
an
look like
upside down
swings
Space
to not
Invader.
hit the walls.
Yeah, that kind of sucks that if you touch the wall, you take damage. That's evil.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to play that on a free floating joystick.
That's
No.
interesting.
Well, it's
a
like
lot of
Berserk,
levels.
right?
Yeah, that's true. You can't touch the wall in Berserk. So that's
And here you have to go
intriguing.
get the
I
gun,
like the
you know.
one that Bryza had us look at last night. What's it called? Wizard something or another? Or
Wizard's Den?
yeah, that was neat.
Yeah,
That was
I'd
neat.
forgotten about that one. I actually have it on my site, so I've obviously played it before, but I totally forgot about it.
We're getting trolled here, Boyce and Tech. This show has sunk so low that the show will have to be transmitted from China. And then he follows that up with CoCoTALK, the dumpster fire that goes beyond the fifth alarm. Thank you. And somebody's got to keep that troll flame alive. Oh, he missed the gun there. That was the gun to pick up, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
These are
You got to time it between the guy moving left and
No,
right. and
that's just evil. Absolutely evil.
He's hoping it's going to change if he goes up and down.
Ouch. Now you can shoot the sons of bitches, right? Ah!
Well, they get frozen once they hit you, but
But you can still take damage by touching them, huh?
yeah. But that particular one's on a fixed pattern. He won't come after you. But beyond that, so you just have to time it properly like you did there.
Okay.
So,
That's,
interesting
Yeah.
game.
That is interesting. Nice to see that Homer Simpson's, got things to do. All right.
Now, you may recognize Paul Bergen. This is the one I was thinking of, where he's one of the authors of the original Dragon emulators, pre-XOR. This one's Boulder Crash, which is Boulder Dash. But this one actually has been revised so that the editor to make your own levels is built in. And you played one of the Boulder, the Dragon Boulder.
Oh, yeah, I
Crash
didn't like
clones
it.
yesterday. This is a different one.
Wasn't a fan of it. It's too confusing for me.
This is the cassette load screen, actually.
That's interesting.
Full-blown graphic. Like you can see, you got the level. You can change your timers. Let's fast forward a bit here.
And it's obviously completely just monochromatic.
Yeah. Actually, the one you played yesterday, I think, was designed that way, too.
Even though we were seeing the artifacts. Okay.
So I just want to pause here. The screen editor, so here's your keys for doing it in the various different shapes that you can place. But then the screen editor itself, like here's the entire maze at once, shrunk down so you can fit the entire thing.
Okay.
Because you only get to see a zoomed up portion of
Right,
it.
right. And those are all your diamonds. So there's a whole bunch of diamonds you got to try to get.
Yeah. There, you just cleared one. You're going to do some editing. Then you can save your screen, load your screen, save all your screens if you're editing multiple levels at once. I'm not sure what verify does. If maybe checks if there's corrupt data or something, or maybe it's solvable or something. I'm not sure exactly what that does. There's one of the other levels.
No, get to the gameplay. Let's see what the actual playing of the game looks like.
Heading over here.
It's interesting that you got a lot of time to be able to put into that, though. Okay. All right, now this
The diamonds are actually animated.
Yeah, no, this looks good in monochromatic. Again, it kind of reminds me of early Mac Classic games.
Yeah,
they're just purely black and white.
That.
Yeah.
Okay, cool stuff.
Let's get more into the gameplay. I think he got.
This was all done via cassette.
There you go.
Yeah, for some reason, disk drives didn't really take off on the Dragon as much as they did here.
The scrolling is really smooth, and it looks like it's scrolling one whole tile at a time. Why did he die from that? That's the part I couldn't understand. I had shit falling, and I was just blowing up, and I'm just minding my own business. And yeah, I don't know that I've fully ever comprehended this game, to be honest with you. It's a little too cerebral for me, I think. So
too cerebral.
Yes, falling rocks and gravity. These are things that I just can't wrap my head around. So.
Once you master
quantum physics or something.
Once you master chess, you start playing this.
Oh boy. Okay, and the last one I have out of the batch he did this past week is Bonka, which is a Space Panic type game.
Okay. I like Space Panic. My wife's cooking is smelling really good.
I'm sensing an end of the show coming.
Garlic is involved. That was a really neat effect as that screen was scrolling up. It looked like they were rotating.
Yeah, that's because of the way the semi-graphics works when you're in the high-res modes. Because you can't move the characters within a cell. They have to be where...
That's actually a really cool effect.
Yeah, that is a really cool effect.
To kill blue meanies, your man must dig a hole, and when a meanie falls in, bonk him on the head. Points scored depend on distance of the meanie falls. Use arrow keys to move and spacebar to dig or bonk. Remove joystick. Any other key. Oh, remove joysticks. Like they want you to complete.
Instruction.
Remove, maybe because in certain ROMs the joystick interfered with the keyboard, like in the old basic 1.0 and stuff.
That could be.
I like that one game we were playing. It says unplug your printer now before you start. It was just like,
yeah, because back in the old days, if you didn't mask off the printer part of the PIA when you're doing the sound, because it's on the same PIA chip, same address, a lot of the people like Ghost Gobbler, the original version of Ghost Gobbler by Spectral did that, where if your printer was plugged in and turned on, as soon as you ate a ghost, your printer would just fire up and print garbage.
Now, what I don't remember is could you eventually take falling damage if you fell too many levels, or if you fell at all, would you take damage?
I don't think so, but I can't remember. I've never played this particular one too, so I don't know if this particular implementation would do that or not.
Oh, that's true. Somebody's pointing out that the Patreon screen is not updating. It's stuck on Alan Huffman. Sorry about that. Thank you, Boyce on Tech. I don't know why.
All right.
Hey, right. You guys have seen Color Panic and all that stuff before, I'm sure, on the Coco side of things. So, just one of the Dragon unique versions of it. So, and that is all I have for news this week.
Very cool. Let me see if I can't fix. Something's going on with the script here. Thank you for pointing that out. And I will go ahead and. If it doesn't, it's not, I don't know why it's not working. Thanks for letting me know, Richard. I didn't realize that this whole time. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and run the patrons page and thank all the patrons directly. We'll take a commercial break and then we'll come back with whatever else is going to happen after this. So let's go ahead and let's talk about our patron sponsors right now. Thank you, Curtis, for doing the news.
You're welcome.
Much thanked, much obliged. All right. So here we go. All right, how about we say thank you to the patrons of our show? That would be Al Hartman and Al Huffman, Alan Huffman and Blair Leduc and Brendan Donahue and Brian Joyce and Brian Weasler and DeBruce Moore and Davey Mitchell and Diego, who is still with us. Thank you, Diego, and Disney Saints fan and Eric Canales, now president of the Glenside Color Computer Club, and Fedor Stamen and Grant Leedy and Jason Downs and Jenna Farron and Ken Reichert and Kyle Eder and Malfunct and Paulie Walnuts Fiscarelli, or as Grant calls him, Paul Fitzarelli, and Paul Shoemaker and Richard Lorbieski of BoysonTechnologies.com, BoysonTech.com, Rob Inman, Steve Bjork, Terry Steen, author of Balloon Fire, of Gray Lady. What was the other game we played? Mrs. Pack, and there was even a fourth. Terry Steggy of TheTandyShack.com, the Backyard Chat Gang, Tom C. and Tom S. Thank you all for your patronage. We'll be back after these words.
Hey, have you got your Coco 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
The Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore, gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the Coco Forever guys, and we are Coco Fest, and we love Stevie Stroh.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. Where the Coco surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake. Coco Forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that alt-reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel? I'm still believing. Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Computer shopping has never been better at Radio Shack. Here's proof. Our new ultra-high-performance 386SX 20 megahertz computer with 85 megabyte hard drive, only $12.99. And it's from Tandy, manufacturer of the best-selling PC compatibles in America. Or get a 286-based Tandy home office computer with color monitor and hard drive, only $899.95. Shop your friendly nearby Radio Shack. Great selection, superior service. Nobody compares.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
And we're back. And thank you, Curtis, for the news. A lot of cool stuff. I like seeing Dragon stuff. Here's Ben Drake. Speaking of that, Ben Drake says, thanks for showing some Dragon games, Curtis. I ordered a Dragon MMC board, so I'm looking forward to playing some games on my machine when that gets here. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they had a different software market than us, which is kind of cool because they actually had, different innovations of ideas and stuff beyond what we did in certain ways.
Yeah.
So there's some uniqueness there to definitely tap into and try.
And since
I take it the MSC is their version of the SDC, or another
yes,
version of the SDC.
It's similar to the Coco SDC, but it also deals with cassette images, from what I understand, because most of the stuff for the Dragons were what we call CAS files, which is kind of like a disk image, but a cassette image. But I imagine
Didn't it allow save states too, or something?
Yeah, I know we talked about it when they talked about a new run was happening. I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to that. I wouldn't mind getting one. I've got a Dragon. I don't know if you guys know the answer to this question, but since us in the U.S. we have the Tano Dragon, which runs at 60 hertz NTSC. Were those games that were written for 50 hertz timing? Is there going to be any issues with the games?
I don't think so, because I think the ROM boots it up in the right, or the actual hardware on the Tano version versus the UK version boots up to 50 or 60 hertz on its own properly. So maybe timing on some games might be a bit off. But
I think it would depend on the game, but for the most part, no.
It's hard to say, because I don't know how much they got into scanline tricks or scanline hacks, or if they got into timing, IRQ based timing based on the V blank and stuff like that. So if the V blank is off, then I would imagine the game would be wackadoodle.
Right. And most people didn't. So that's why I'm saying, for the most part, you wouldn't run into too many problems, unless like Linville was programming it, because he did a lot of that stuff.
Well, he also in the Farfall, he made it detect what version it was running on too. So on the screen for that, even I think Christmas Rush did
stuff
the same
like
thing too.
Dragonfire definitely doesn't work the same because of the time it's off.
Right. So
York did vertical blind stuff too. I thought he tried to.
Yeah, I see. So when you made that comment, you're kind of talking about like he does a lot of VDG stuff that does exploit the timing. Is that what you meant by that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right, and so that since the timer is different, those exploitations might not display as expected.
Exactly.
VSync timing will definitely be an issue because it's 50 hertz, 50 times per second on the PAL ones, and it's 60 hertz on NTSCs.
Yeah, gotcha. So that would be interesting to know, because I know when you run XROAR, you can run a PAL or an NTSC Dragon, and we could probably test it that way too. I'm just curious, because what I want to know is when I finally unbox my Tano Dragon, which is the US Dragon, I want to check out some of these games. I'm hoping they're going to play okay. I want to play.
I would say 90 to 95% of them don't use VSync.
Yeah. At some point in time, I would love to sit down and play some real Dragon games on a real Dragon. Yeah.
Aren't there some like old new stock Tano Dragons available?
I'm not sure if California Digital still has any. For a while, there was. Yeah.
They sold out a few years back.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes. Well, I knew, but I didn't feel comfortable. All the stuff they were talking about was, the guy's not really good about getting back to you, and it's difficult to deal with, and you got to be patient. And so, to me, I just wasn't sure. But yeah, in the end, I ended up getting one anyway. So I'm glad I do have one. But I didn't jump on it when it was around. Anyways, yeah, that's cool. So what else we got to talk about here, boys and girls? Anything?
Well, I can give you a little bit of an update here. That soap powder Coco 3 now has a new power switch in it, and is actually up and running behind me with the SDC. So we're all
okay. So what we see on the screen there is coming from that Coco.
Actually, the one on the bottom there,
the Cosmic Ambush.
Yeah.
So you cleaned out the cartridge port, and that was it?
Yeah, cleaned it out. I just have to. I'm going to do a 512K upgrade on it here in a bit, but. Other than that, it's good to go. It was a quick repair.
So you've literally been doing that while we've been talking.
Oh, should have.
Yeah, we're that boring that you just fix Cocos in the background while the show's
you know what? It passes the time, right?
Can I send you mine?
It was either that or sleep, So.
Yeah.
Does it pass the real time though?
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you my dead Coco too. You can fix it next week.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. This was just a power switch. But yeah, I got it running Cosmic Ambush. I was going to run something else. Like, wait a minute, I got to put 512K in this yet. So that'll be the next thing there. It has a 6809. I'm just going to leave that as is right now. But it's up and running. So I'll take it. That's...
Well, one thing is Nick Marenti still on the call? I was going to ask him, did he want to give us an update on Gunstar? We haven't seen a blog for a while, so just wondering how that's going.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. There's a lot of things to do, but I don't really have an update. at this point, I guess video-wise, I'm going to be leaving it as a surprise for people. But
Okay.
there is all 4 levels are in there. The boss aliens are in there. But yeah, there's still a lot more to go. So
is this a Christmas release or later?
Well, either Christmas or the Coco Fest, I guess, is what I'm aiming for. So we'll see.
Christmas release, what year? It's not really.
Let's say Christmas and Coco Fest is kind of a big window.
Yeah, you got me.
2020-ish.
That's called playing it safe.
Yes.
But, it's looking good anyway so far.
Yeah, well, I guess my update, if anything, which we did at the top of the show, I mentioned to you guys last week, I'm in the middle of doing an office reorg, and that reorg is coming together. So my main computer desk I'm sitting at now is probably how it's going to be for a while. I think the only thing I might change is I might want to get a hutch that has more clearance where I can slide Cocos under my computer monitor. So now it's not easy for me to have Cocos in the mix. So my Coco is kind of off to the side right now. But this desk is where it's going to be. So, some minor tweaks on that. But yeah, I'm trying to get more back into doing Coco stuff besides just this show. I could playing Coco games, making Coco game videos, maybe working on some developing of something. So I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row to be able to do more Coco things. We're getting
Have you
close
sold
there.
off anything else since too that you said you're trying to kind
Not
of
really. I don't really have anything else Coco left to sell. I just had I have an extra game console of a Sega Saturn, and I've got some duplicate cartridges. I don't think anybody was as interested in those, so those will just get boxed up, I guess. Yeah. But I want to fix the sound problem on this TDP 100, get that going so I can make some good, clean videos with the Coco VGA, be able to hear things from the speech sound cartridge. So I can play inspirational games like Waterfall, things like that. So, Boys on Tech update. CoCoTALK. The host still stinks. But we did a spontaneous gaming marathon last night that I thought was fun.
That was fun.
A different way of streaming. We streamed the live video to Discord, so people could actually watch it in Discord and talk real time, and it actually worked. So that was kind of an interesting experiment to.
And you were trying out John Strong's new joystick too.
John Strong's joystick, which seems to work. So, yeah, very cool.
Are you going to be streaming Discord again tonight?
Maybe. You never know. I want to try to figure out the sound. So I was hoping some people with a little bit of hardware knowledge could help me troubleshoot why I'm having some audio issues on there. So maybe we can I don't know if we need to stream that to the world, but maybe I could have it where you guys could see my Coco and tell me what to look at to try to fix it. I would love to get the sound working on the Coco.
Consistently, yeah.
On what you've got a Coco?
It's a TDP 100. But
Okay.
it's got a composite mod, and so I'm assuming the problem is possibly something in the composite mod because I'm not getting all the audio.
Oh, okay, right. So you're getting like the DAC sound, but not.
I'm getting
the 1-bit
some DAC
something
sound,
like
but
that.
Sometimes it kicks in, sometimes it kicks out. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So that's something I'd like to get ironed out because I want to be able to make good, clean Coco 1 and 2 videos, and the Coco VGA is going to handle the visual part, but I need to get clean audio as well.
Well, until you fix it, can't you just choose another gray case Coco and pop it in there?
Well, then
There's
I have
no
to
Coco VGA on that one.
I would have to move the Coco VGA, and I'd have to.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I'm saying.
I'd have to socket a VDG. That's something I don't know how to do.
Those, I think, are already socketed on the older machines.
No, I don't know. And then maybe that's something we can figure out.
It was on your TDP, right?
Honestly, I don't know because Brendan did it for me, so I don't know.
That's mine was
my eBoard Coco. Well, actually, both my eBoard and my F-board Cocos have got all the chips socketed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TDP is basically an F-board Coco, so.
Yeah, so you could do that.
Okay.
Grab one of your gray ones and throw it in there. And you're solved for a while until you have somebody look at your machine.
No, but isn't the sound connection require soldering or something?
Yeah, it's just like 2 points. It's easy.
Yeah, well, I've got my other Coco that already has a composite mod too. So
The
You could use alligator clips.
The easiest way to get sound out of them is just to connect a 1 microfarad or even a 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitor to pin 3 of the RF converter, and then the other side directly to your audio. That's all you really need to do for it. It's a pretty straightforward mod.
Okay, well, maybe we can figure that out later tonight. All right, so as far as this show is concerned, have we beat it to death? Do we have any parting thoughts, any words of wisdom, things we want to share?
I actually do have one more little thing to share that I forgot about earlier on.
Okay.
I don't actually have a picture of it. The device isn't here, but that the ACO 160 EVK, the evaluation kit, converts the audio from my Coco 1 or 2, 3 or whatever into MIDI and control voltages to control the synthesizer that I showed on an earlier episode. Brian from Second Sound has come up with a new version of it, and the new version tracks audio even better than this one does. This one has a few little glitches because it's a prototype and it was an evaluation kit, and it had a few little glitches that kind of held me up a little bit with the project. And I got word via email yesterday that Brian has packaged up and sent a new version of the EVK to me, which is on its way now. Hopefully within a week or so, maybe even by next show, I might have it here to demonstrate.
Cool. Cool. Get more Coco music.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually held back a little bit on writing new songs for it until this version came out, because it will allow me to track things a bit easier. And now with John Strong's play command updates and everything, I'll be able to feed the Coco, the Mega Mini MPI directly into this kit, and I should get really clean, really accurate conversion results out of this new combination.
Cool. Can't wait to hear it.
I'd like to have people come to Ron's garage, take a look around. I captured some pictures that were fun. Just
yeah.
And I did a drawing of a Radio Shack store, and somebody had mentioned that they thought they saw it in Rainbow, and I thought, well, gee, I've got somebody that has a Ron Delvaux beard. That's cool. That makes me feel good. And then somebody else that thinks that I'm good enough to be in the Rainbow magazine. That's great.
Yeah, I liked your Charlton Heston Moses picture. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it come out good. If you pick the right picture to have dithered, it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. My favorite part of Moses is when he said, "Get your hands off of them, you damn dirty apes." Oh wait, am I getting my movies confused right now?
Hey, I thought that was Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Rick Grimes, Carl.
What was that History of the World where Moses comes down with 15 coming out?
15. I mean 10.
I love that scene.
That's good stuff.
Hilarious.
Good stuff. Yeah, they are good. They're definitely good. I'm glad you do that, Ron.
It's fun.
Ron is you're the quintessential Coco enthusiast. You're so enthusiastic, and you're always doing something, and it's always interesting.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I use my Coco. During the day, I'm retired. I sit here and play with them. I convert pictures. I draw on Coco Max or the other
Color
one.
Max Deluxe, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun. I try to break things.
One thing I was thinking of, we've kind of exhausted, I think, a good chunk of your garage as far as hardware goes, is that maybe we could still do your Ron's Garage segment, but you could just do all the things you did in the week, like show some of the pictures you created. And
that'd be cool.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Ron's Doodles.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Thanksgiving's coming. We'll do some Thanksgiving graphics.
Yeah, Monday. Oh, wait, not you.
Wait. Well, yeah, that's good for you guys up north. I was born in Alaska, so.
Oh, wow.
I was born there, too, before it was a state. And my mother was a little nervous because, but I was born on an Air Force base. So
that's a bit of a contrast to
Arizona, huh?
Arizona, yeah.
So if you keep that trend up, you'll be moving to the surface of the sun in about a year or two, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go at night.
Via mercury.
But it's a dry heat.
That's right.
Just go visit the sun at night. It'll be fine. It'll be a lot much cooler.
That's right.
And one more soap powder Coco 3 update. You see, I now have the Pac-Man transcode playing. So
okay, so it's
112K was successful.
Maxed out the RAM.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was like a huge update.
It's really, yeah, I know. It's breaking news. We need like a breaking news stinger.
Now, did you order a keyboard from Ed and get that received while we were online?
Hey, new keyboard installed.
That is something else.
It was coming via Star Trek transporter. Yeah.
Yeah, the quantum entangled version will be there shortly.
Well, I mean, I want to thank you guys every week for coming together. This is always the highlight of my week, because just getting together and talking to you guys and talking about the Coco. I have.
What does that say about the rest of your week?
You know,
the rest of your life in general. I mean, holy.
Yes, agreed.
Well, a big thing for you is getting your desk set up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the office has been it's been like a thorn in my side, and psychologically, it's been really affecting my ability to do things. Because every time I walked in here, I was just like, ugh, I hate it. I can't. You know, I didn't feel the feng shui of anything here. So, trying to get the groove back here. But yeah, I've been thinking, I've been such a slacker when it comes to doing Coco stuff. You know, I haven't been playing any games. I haven't been making any videos. I haven't been doing this. So seeing like these new podcasts come out and seeing other things going on, it's just kind of inspiring me to want to get back to doing more Coco stuff just besides this show. So, I mean, we got all you guys who do this. We got Ron. Ron, you're the biggest inspiration of them all. You know, you're just always doing something, you know. And that's what it should be about.
The other thing is too is like there's been a few new game releases over the last year, but not a ton. So if you've played a lot of the other older ones, and you know it might be getting kind of burnt out, going to play the same games. But now that we're finding all these new Dragon games, you actually have a whole new catalog to go through.
Yeah,
and there's some pretty good gems in there. So
even though what we did last night on the Coco SDC, I just found games that I really wasn't that familiar with. So there's so many hidden gems in the library of the Coco that we can do some more of that stuff. Cool. Anyone else? Any parting thoughts, final words of wisdom? Anything else? Any announcements?
Richard from Boys and Tech says in the chat, he says, this show has been a thorn by my side.
Chet's been here, but it's been kind of quiet. Everything good for you, Chet?
Absolutely. Just working on some code.
All right. Very cool. Thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and acknowledge some of the people that have been with us along for the live stream today. We've had Al Hartman here, Retro Innovations, Vocal Studio, also known as DeBruce, and Curtis Boyle, Nick Marotta, Alexander Wallace, Mark B., Matchy, and Tim Franklin, and Tom C., and Amigos Retro Gaming has been here. Nick Marotta has been here. Tim Franklin, and who else? And Ken Reichert, Ken Make It has been here. And all kinds of people here in the live chat as I'm scrolling through here. David Ladd, a.k.a. Dave's Hobbies, has been here. A.k.a. Paco Atakte, Drencor. Ben Drakes from Bill Pierce has been here a couple weeks in a row now. Thanks, Bill, for stopping by. James Jones stopped by. Curtis Boyle, Al Hartman, Tim Franklin, Nick Marotta. Matchy has been here. Boyce on Tech out here trying to troll, doing an okay job. So thanks guys for doing it live. And still here in the panel, we've got Curtis Boyle and Nick Marotta and Mark B. and Chet Simpson and David O'Connor and Jason Reichert and Ron Delvaux and John Lowry and Nick Marentes, and Diego has been here from You Are Gay. And Bill Pierce says, when I'm not napping. That's good, Bill. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully we didn't put you to sleep.
You forgot Restreambot.
Restreambot has been here. We did have Lady Lumps tried to join the Discord call there. So thanks, Lady Lumps, for stopping by, and a few other people for trying to get in on the call.
Her humps.
Can we see a raise of hands? How many people would want to see Ed on here? Ed Snyder?
Absolutely.
I think that's
Ed Snyder.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
All in favor?
Ron Delvaux. Ron, make him an offer he can't refuse.
We got to do something.
You got to go have lunch with him, Ron.
Yeah.
Man, we got to do something. Where does he
If
live?
he's not on here, he's not working on his other stuff.
Yeah, but
He was in Minnesota, if I remember.
If we could just get a few minutes, Maybe
Just
he
kidding.
could record something if he doesn't want to come on.
Well, he does. He
That would
puts
be cool.
he puts it all on YouTube and on Facebook. So I would love to have him. I believe I've asked him to come on. I know I don't want to push the guy, and we're grateful for what he does. But yeah, the great thing about Ed Snyder is he doesn't need to do press. He's his products and his products stand for themselves. But would we love to have him on? Absolutely. But
Thank you, Ed.
How his mind works, how he comes up with.
Yeah, he's been in the live chat a handful of times answering questions and stuff like that too. But absolutely, I agree. We would love to have Ed Snyder on the program.
I'm
live.
hoping we can convince him to come to Coco Fest this year too for the 40th anniversary, because that would be nice to have him actually be there, and we can thank him in person.
Like, what was his first computer? That'd be cool to hear.
Yep. Well, Grant Leedy says this show is too short, which is a good thing. Ho! All right. So how about that? I'm going to play the outro. We're going to cue outro, and we'll be back for final thoughts. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at cocotalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Different-Daffer for making my head explode. Please help support the Coco community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. And that is all she wrote, folks. Yeah, Ronnie.
You know what's really cool is when you have D. Bruce Moore on with his son, and you hear in the background CoCoTALK. It's like a background noise of people talking. They're all Coco talking.
Oh, yes. I didn't think about that.
Next time you run that, listen. It's really cool to hear all that stuff. That's something, when I'm watching these pictures at the end, one after another, everybody looks so good. And then the natural background when those pictures were taken was that noise.
Yeah. That
really cool.
That was from this year's Coco Fest for the most part. Yep.
It's really neat.
Yes. All right. Final thoughts. John Lowry, anything for the folks at home to take away with?
Not really. No, I haven't been doing much lately. Just, working on getting healthy and getting ready to go back to work here in a couple of weeks. About 15 days, about 2 weeks. I'll be going back to work, and so just working on getting life normal again.
Good.
You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling awesome.
Good.
It's awesome. You look awesome.
Thank you.
That's good. Speaking of looking awesome, Nick Marotta. Final thoughts, parting thoughts.
The Brad Pitt of the Coco world.
Brad Pitt.
Yes, self-described actually.
No,
Again,
he just became a Christian.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. I'm always happy to hear that.
Awesome.
So again, happy Turkey Day to all our Canadian, well, including me, Canadian friends.
Gobble gobble.
Yep.
Exactly.
Very cool. Jason Reichert, have
Good
you
one.
fixed anything else? Have you cured world hunger, world peace, anything like that? Palestine's getting together, anything like that?
Well, I just got to find the other little black thing that goes under the keyboard. I misplaced that. Other than that, we're good, and we'll have some more stuff coming down the pike, hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
Push the button, Frank.
Yeah, well, Diego, we're glad you could join us this week. Thanks for joining us from Uruguay. Any parting thoughts for you?
No, just I miss you guys when I'm away for this long. I hope I can make it often, and I hope that I'll be able to make it to Coco Fest. I don't want to miss the 40th.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be good to see you again. Yes, L. Curtis Boyle. Parting thoughts.
Well, my schedule is still basically the same as it was last time. By the end of October, I should be out of work. Rush season here. I thought I was going to be starting to die down this week, and that didn't happen. Basically, the last 2 days, I just got jobs dumped on me, so I got to work the rest of the weekend. But it's still looking good for that end of October. I should be done, and then I can actually start getting back to use of use and trying to remember where the hell I left off.
Ease of use.
Done.
I thought your busy season lasted January through December.
No, especially not this last year. It was dead for the first 6 months. It was pretty bad.
Mark B., any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, advice, stock tips?
Try to stay awake.
Try to stay awake. Especially if you're behind the wheel right now. Ron Delvaux.
I gave my 2 cents.
All right. Nick Marentes, any Australian wisdom for us?
Crikey.
Crikey.
That's a parting thought. That's what Steve Irwin said.
I think he's got a little something right
And
there
then
on
he
that.
parted, all right?
There.
There you go.
No wisdom.
No wisdom from Nick for a change, right? Crikey, get out there and work on your Coco. Yeah, so. All right, Chet Simpson. Chet Simpson, you have the final word.
I will actually have something for y'all in the next couple of weeks to talk about on the show. So I'm sure it'll be boring and technical, but
that's
sometime
cool.
The next week or the following week. So yeah, something I've been documenting the last.
Did you see what Rick Adams did with your database and how he made it like a nice little retro front end and everything?
Yeah, I did. I was really hoping somebody would be able to take that and make use of it. So I was really glad to see that he was able to get that up and make it publicly available so that people could search it and read some of the messages from back in the day, because there is a lot of information on there, particularly about how to use certain programs. You just have to kind of search for it a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. There we go.
So we have a title for episode 130 then.
Which is?
What is it?
Chet
Simpson's
show,
whatever.
Oh, it's the teaser he's doing now. Yeah.
This isn't going to be another like Stevie Rage quits the show during a highly technical discussion.
Nah, let's hope so. Right. Here's a good question. We'll close on this thought here. Can a Coco go on the internet and making its own network and create new crypto named Coco Coin?
Well, we didn't have a guidance today, did we?
We did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, must have went to the bathroom.
Technically feasible.
Okay, the
Nick
other
Marotta
question is
these $5 ukuleles.
Yeah. Special shout out to.
Does anybody know how Steve Bjork is?
He's fine. We saw him. We talked to him the other night. You got to come to
great.
Discord more often.
Okay.
Yes. All right. We're pressing the button. Goodbye. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week.
All right.
Yeehaw.
Pressing the button.